I get to repeat that twice. And commencing broadcasts now. Aloha. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in once again. My name is Brendan, aka Wolf Shield, Mystic Spider-Man, Skull Babylon, whatever you want to call me, Big Skull. What? Thanks so much for tuning in. We are doing another live tarot reading with Wolf broadcast here tonight. It's a late night 10 p.m. edition, and we've created a routine and a schedule, so letting you know that right off the bat. We're going to be doing this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for at least this week, for the time being. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. And if you're here live, please begin sharing this broadcast and we'll be able to get right into the first reading. So what we like to be able to do here, we like to be able to create conditions to be able to help invite people to engage with the broadcast and to be able to help us share it with more people. So if you would like to be able to get a reading for tonight's broadcast, please go ahead and drop a 333 into the comments. And in addition to that, please share this broadcast. And once we get about, give or take, about 10 people on the Facebook, then from there, on the Facebook video, like live feed of it, then from there we'll begin picking someone from the chat to be able to do a reading for, and stand by for further instructions on that. So allow me one extra second here as I just start sharing this to a couple of the pages. Guess what? Your boy got banned from posting on groups in Facebook. Because I'm such a mad hacker. But nonetheless, if you're watching this on any platform, the invitation to share is there. And again, you're not just sharing because I'm just like, hey, I'm asking you to. Share this as like a tool to be able to help inspire more people, to be able to help reach more people, to be able to use the messages that come through here during these readings as something that could be of service to you. So if you've tuned into this before, and you're just like, yo, like, I've been like enjoying these broadcasts, I've been smiling, I've been having fun, I've been connecting with other shifters and light guardians, I want to be able to share this gift. I want more people to be able to experience this. Then one of the ways that you can do that is by sharing this broadcast with your friends. So again, if you're looking for what we do a reading straight out of the chat, and then from there we'll be able to work towards our objective of getting at least 2 new signups on Patreon tonight. And then the second reading will be for the person that signs up on Patreon during this broadcast. And allow me 2 more extra seconds here as I'm just sharing this into one more place on Facebook. And then I'll do a couple extra steps here and we'll get right into the reading. So if this is your first time here, thank you so much. And this is something that I'm super honored to be able to do for community. And shout out to those of you tuning in on on Instagram. If you're watching this on Instagram, you can go to my Instagram story, swipe up there, and you can join in on the YouTube link. So you don't have to watch this on Instagram, but whatever works for you is totally cool. So let's see. So again, let's see if we can get at least 10 people tuned in on the Facebook before we do that first reading. So if you're tuned in on Facebook, join me in helping share this broadcast with a few of your friends. And in doing so, we will work towards getting at least 10 people tuned in live, and then more from there. And then from there, we will do a first reading for someone from the chat once I drop in the additional instructions. And and thank you again, everyone, for hanging out and for being here and for supporting the ongoing shift in consciousness that we are manifesting together. So again, for those of you who may be here for the first time, if this is your first time here, go ahead and drop a 777 in the chat. I always want to be able to give special shout outs to those of you who may be tuning in for the first time. So thank you to those of you who are here. We got Stone Gamer, we got Erica, one of our Patreon supporters. Thank you, Erica. We got Caesar, we got Lewis. Thank you so much. And we got Paul, and on Facebook, we've got Janie, and we've got Maureen. Thank you so much. And on Instagram, we've got A Silva, and we've got Island Goddess. Thank you so much, everyone, again, for joining in. So if you are on the Instagram, go ahead and jump over to YouTube. You got an extra second here. Go ahead and jump onto the YouTube by either going right to youtube.com/skullbabylon or going to my Instagram story, like the most recent one, and swipe up. And then that will take you to the link on YouTube. And you'll see what I mean. Like the Instagram, we do this as a secondary camera, but like the YouTube experience is like a little bit more bonus. So we got some first time listeners here tonight. So thank you, Lewis. Thank you, Samantha. Thank you, Sean. Just real curious, Lewis, Samantha, Sean, how did you find out about this broadcast? Did it just pop up in your recommended on YouTube, or is this like, have you been following me on social media? Are you brand new? I would love to just be able to hear, because that means that things are working. So thank you again so much, and happy equinox. Absolutely happy Mabon, as it is also known within like the pagan ritual, the pagan ceremony related to the equinox. They refer to it as Mabon, which maybe I'm not pronouncing that properly, but again, it's all about like the harvest. So what is it that we're harvesting? So again, for those of you who may be entirely new, I'm going to give you the quick run through on how it is that we do things here during this broadcast for live tarot readings with Wolf. Again, as I mentioned, we're doing this at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the next few days. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And the intention behind these broadcasts is to be able to provide awesome value for the community through the inspirational messages that come through with these readings. In addition to that, we're also being able to help to cultivate the support for the project that we do as a whole, as a community, through the support by people being able to contribute to my Patreon with monthly micro donations, which is how people jump the line to be able to be the next person who we do the reading for on air. And when we do the readings for people on air, again, we do it as like a collective. This is like very much like a synchronistic hive mind thing. That's very, very cool. Hey, Rebecca, thanks so much for tuning in. And so again, if you would like to be able to get a reading live on air for this first round, go ahead and make sure that you share this broadcast, drop a 333 into the comments, and then stay tuned for the additional instructions. And in the meantime, we are also inviting a person to be able to sign up for the Patreon, which again is a monthly micro donation to be able to help support that work that I do for the community. And that can be a $3, $5, $10, and that will give you the ability to jump the line, and you'll be the second person that we do the reading for. And we're working on getting like 2 new Patreon signups during this broadcast. And the other cool thing, is that when you sign up for the Patreon, you can also get a super awesome light guardian crystal. This is like an extra chunky one, I might add. They're not all this chunky, but the light guardian crystals are super awesome tools that we hand make for people within the community. So if you're like the first time here, this is probably the first time you're seeing one of these. These are like ancient futuristic tools that we've like manifested from the dream space. They're all handmade by me, real quartz crystal, made with polymer clay, made with a lot of love, made with a lot of intention. And again, these in themselves, how much do they cost? As much as you wish to pay once you sign up for the Patreon. And so that's a super, super awesome deal. And there's other perks when you sign up for the Patreon. So I'll post a link into the comments for that. And we're going to get right into our first reading in the next moment. And again, the second reading will be for the second person to sign up on Patreon. The first person to sign up on the Patreon. And we're working towards being able to get 2 Patreon signups during this broadcast. So again, we did one this morning. We got 2 signups, which is awesome. And again, the support from the Patreon, for those of you who haven't really met me yet, like creating conscious media is my full-time passion. It's my full-time devotion, and the support through the Patreon allows me to do that. I'm the director for a project known as Paradigm Shift Central. It's a portal for inspirational conscious media that helps support creators and leaders, other conscious media creators. And I've been doing this for 10 years. I'm an award-winning filmmaker, so I've got like a lot of skill sets. And basically, I started going through my own awakening process, and this is a bit of my story. And I was like, sweet, how can I use my skills of media and community and leadership to be able to help like merge those passions of video production and shifting consciousness into a single place, into a single thing? And that is what we've created today. So if you haven't yet afterwards, make sure that you check out my Patreon, because I will link you into the Paradigm Shift Central project where you can explore more. And there's a lot of awesome value that we're creating here as a community. And again, that is made possible thanks to our collective support as a team. So thank you again, everyone, so much for joining in. And let's get into that first reading. And again, for those of you on Facebook is kind of like iffy sometimes. So right now it says there's only 2 people tuned in on Facebook. But if you are tuned in on Facebook, help us reach at least 10 people by, again, sharing this broadcast. Lewis, if you're able to, if you can share this broadcast to a couple groups, like, dude, I know you've done that before. That would be a huge help, because that will, again, just allow more people to be able to see this message, more people to be able to connect with what we got going on here. And and again, because I'm banned from posting in Facebook groups for like 7 days or something. So anyways, let's get into this first reading. And for anybody, again, who hasn't yet, please feel free to share this broadcast and stay tuned for the next instruction. So I know we got a few new people tune in again. Lewis, sorry, I was actually talking to another Lewis in Facebook, but Lewis, absolutely, please feel free to share this broadcast as well. Thanks, I appreciate it. So again, shout out to Lucas, shout out to Samantha, shout out to Lewis, Caesar, Erica, Island Goddess, who made the jump over from Instagram. Sweet, awesome, thanks so much. Cacao, Coco, Kaka Coco, and Sean and anybody else. Yo, Sean, good to see you here. Awesome, thank you so much everyone for joining in. So if you would like a reading, drop a 333 in the comments right now. Share this broadcast if you haven't yet, and stand by for the next instructions. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be able to tell you a number, and then you're going to type this number into the chat, and then the fifth person who enters this number into the chat across our multiple chats will be the person who we choose the first reading for. And again, even if you're not the person who gets chosen for this reading, if you're still here, this message is for you. There will be something here that you'll get out of this. And again, for the people who have been tuning into these broadcasts, like, they keep tuning in because they're just like, yo, I enjoy hanging out with like the community, and I enjoy being able to like see what additional insight can come to the surface through this collective reading. So it's pretty cool that way. It's pretty cool. Awesome. Very cool. All right. And again, with these readings, it really is not so much my intention with these readings. It's not so much like a fortune telling. Everyone's kind of got their own style. When we do these readings, it's very much about being able to like have a mirror for us to be able to see more of ourselves, to be able to get clarity, insight, inspiration in that sense. So whatever intentions people are thinking of, I don't so much answer specific questions, but I encourage you to be able to be open and have the intention of show me what I need to see. So Vivian, I see your comment there. So even if you're just like kind of looking for something specific, allow yourself to just be in that intention of show me what I need to see, and something will come through the cards to be able to serve you in that manner. So, okay, sweet. So thanks again, everyone. If you haven't shared the broadcast, please feel free to share that now. And I'm going to give you the next number for the instructions. And again, we'll do this first reading for someone from the chat. You guys are welcome to hang out. Tune in again tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Standard Time. And again, the next reading after this will be for the person who signs up for the Patreon during this broadcast. And when you sign for the Patreon, you get all sorts of awesome cool stuff, including the shift buttons. I'll show you more about those later, and awesome more stuff about light guardian crystals. Pew, 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 pew. All right, here is your number. Thank you again, everyone, so much for being here and for just hanging out. Here is your number. If you would like to be able to be eligible for the first reading, I'm going to tell you this number. Don't enter it right away. Wait a second. There's multiple chats here, and the fifth person who enters this number based on the multiple chats is the person who we're going to do the reading for. So we got Facebook, we got Twitch, we got YouTube, and we got Instagram. The number you are going to enter, and again, don't enter it right away. You want to be the fifth person. Listen to your intuition. Kind of hold off for a second. Take a breath. The number that you're going to enter, if you would like to be able to be that first person, potentially get that reading, is the number 999. And the fifth person who enters this into the chat will be the person who we do this reading for. And again, keeping in mind that there's multiple chats. So don't just pay attention to your chat. Listen more to your intuition. So we're going to wait a second here because there's a little bit of a delay between the feeds. And again, the fifth person who enters in 999 into the chat will be the person who we do the first reading for. And this is just like a fair way to be able to help like balance things out between the multiple channels that we got the broadcast going through. So here they come. They're coming in. All right. And there we go. Okay. So the fifth person is going to be Samantha. And again, that's based on the multiple chats. So again, we had one in the Facebook and then the other one showed up. So Samantha, thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you again, everyone, so much for dropping in the 999s. Erica, Caesar, Lucas, Paul, Samantha, Diane, Vivian. And one thing I was going to mention is that I forgot to mention this, but we already chose it. So it's okay. You're only allowed to enter it once, but now you know for next time. But that's okay. So I appreciate everybody following along. And so what we'll do, Samantha, we're going to pull a card for you. And again, for everybody here, if this is your first time here, thanks so much for just like hanging out. Please feel free to keep sharing the broadcasts. And again, the next reading that we do will be for the next person who signs up for the Patreon. So you can see the info on the screen below. So be sure to check out the Patreon while we're doing this reading. And with that said, we'll get right into this first reading for Samantha. So yes, absolutely. Congratulations, Samantha. So again, this reading, as much as this is for Samantha, this is for the team. So for everybody here, I invite you to just bring yourself into your heart space. Let's just take a couple breaths here together as a team. Just allow yourself to just relax. Maybe it's the end of the day for you. Maybe you're in Australia. Maybe it's like the middle of the day. That's totally cool too, wherever you are. You're exactly where you need to be. You're in the present moment. So just take 2 more breaths here, everybody here, and we'll just kind of like open ourselves up to that heart space. Nice gentle exhale. 1 more deep breath. Big exhale. Awesome. All right. So Samantha, what we're going to do here, the deck that we use, this is the Ananda Tarot deck. Very, very powerful deck. Again, a lot of the people who have been tuned into this, they'll tell you that we get some awesome readings out of this broadcast, and I am honored to be able to help share this gift with you. Samantha, just bring yourself into that heart space and bring yourself into that intention of show me what I need to see. And for everybody here, this is for everybody, but specifically for Samantha, because we want to be actually, this is like a collective conscious intention work that we're doing right now. You'll see. It's like magic on air. It's pretty cool. So Samantha, bring yourself into that intention of show me what I need to see, and allow yourself to just be in that heart space. And for everybody here, just imagine we're kind of in a circle. Imagine everybody just kind of putting our intention in there. Show us what I need to see. Show us what we need to see. And again, this will be a way for us to check in with the cosmic weather. And then Samantha, once you are ready, you're going to type now into the chat. Take a few more breaths, and when you type now, that's when I'll pull the card for you. And so here we are once again, my friends, staying up late and having fun, allowing ourselves to connect as one. And through the cards, we dance into more for us to see as we remember the connection that we share with this divinity, to be able to bring forth the inspiration, to be able to bring forth the good vibes, to be able to allow ourselves to see the truth that is hidden within these eyes, to rise up in our power as shifters and light guardians unite, to be able to help point the way towards balancing that which is right. And so as we celebrate this dance of living life in this love, we allow ourselves to bring down the truth from above. So again, Samantha's going to type now into the chat. And once she types now into the chat, then we will pull the card. And there it is there. Perfect. Awesome. Thank you, Samantha. Beautiful job. Hey, Susan. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm glad you were able to catch our broadcast tonight. It's a party that we got going on here. All right. So again, the first card for tonight's reading is for Samantha. But again, it's for the team. If you're listening to this broadcast, this reading is for you. Thanks again to everybody on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, go to my Instagram story, swipe up, and join up on YouTube. We got like a bunch of people there as well. So, charging it up with the light guardian crystal. The intention for this broadcast, for this moment, is to be able to bring us into a place of further clarity, inspiration, insight, motivation as we continue to level up as shifters, as light guardians. If you're a shifter, as someone who is intentionally helping assist in the shifting consciousness through acts of creativity and compassion. So if that sounds like you, then you're in the right spot. So just charging up with the light guardian crystal here. And the first card that we have for tonight is the Queen of Spheres. Now allow me to open up into the book, and what we're going to do, we're going to read from the book, and then I'm going to give you some further insight on what the Queen of Spheres is, and to be able to draw some additional inspiration from it as well. So again, as we do this first reading, if you're just like, sweet, this is cool, I like the cut of this guy's jib, and I want to be able to help support more of the awesome value that we're creating through these broadcasts, then again, the next reading that we do will be for the next person to be able to sign up on the Patreon. And again, the Patreon, you can sign up for literally $3, $5. It only takes about 3 minutes to sign up. You can sign up for $1,000. That's totally cool. Like, honestly, it's totally relative. It's all greatly appreciated. And I'll just mention one thing real quick before we get into the reading here. If you sign up at the $11 or more, you can also get a super cool, very, very, very rare, high tier Lumerian light guardian crystal. So I only have so many of these. And so if you sign up at the $11, then you can get a Lumerian light guardian crystal for as much as you wish. These things are worth like 60 to 100 bucks. And again, these are handmade. These are unique, all made with me by love. And again, you could sign up for $11 and pay like $1 and get a Lumerian light guardian crystal. So these are super, super cool. And I'm honored to be able to help share those with you. And also, if you sign up at the $11, that's when you can join our private membership, which is becoming a leading member within the Paradigm Shift Central community. So we'll keep an eye open for the Patreon sign up, and let me know in the chat if you're just like, yo, I'm signing up right now, because you can sign up like while you're listening to this reading. And again, we'll do the next reading for the first person to sign up during this broadcast. And our objective during this broadcast, our team objective, is to get at least 2 new Patreon signups for this broadcast. And if we get a 3rd sign up, then there's like a bonus that we'll do on air tonight. And stay tuned, because I'll tell you more about that. So, Queen of Spheres. Let's take a look at this, and I'll just kind of walk this through. And go ahead, Samantha, just let us know in the comments if you're just like, I am ready. And for everybody here, please feel free to just like keep chatting and keep hanging out. And this is a place for us to be able to connect and celebrate as a community. So, Queen of Spheres. Looking at the image of the card here, what do we have? So this is a very, very, very cool image in itself. We have this female figure, this beautiful like dark hair, and 1 second here, just gotta flip there we go. And this beautiful woman with dark hair, and she's got her hands like above this like glowing sphere, this glowing object. And then there's like another little black sphere with another black sphere right next to it, a very like small one, if you can kind of like see that. And yeah, she's kind of like in a garden. You can see there's like little leaves on the side, and there's like some stars, and it looks kind of like the shape of the moon. There's like a little bit of a crescent moon there, and almost like kind of not so much a moon, but almost like a lens flare. There's some dope lens flare there. And she's got like her eyes closed in a very meditative state. So I'm going to read through this together. And again, we'll go through this, and we'll keep an eye open for the first Patreon sign up for tonight. And we'll give a huge shout out to that person once they sign up. And again, even for the readings, the readings, you can also sign up for a private reading as well. So we can do a reading for the next person that signs up. But if you're just like, hey, I'm going to sign up, but I want a private reading, let me know, because that's when we can go deeper. So talking about the Queen of Spheres here, allow yourself to just be in this space, open your heart. Hey, Samantha, thanks so much for joining in. We got 2 Samanthas here. I was saying hi to another Samantha, so awesome. All right. So allow everyone here to just be open and just be able to receive the wisdom that comes through in this moment. Again, if you're tuned into this broadcast, this is for you. All right. So allow yourself to just open your heart. Samantha, just allow yourself to be present. For everybody here, just open your heart. Queen of Spheres. The image. From the light of a glowing sphere, a graceful female being reveals the secrets of nature that are buried deep within the earth. Meaning, through the connection of the water element and the earth element, the form-giving principle of matter and the creative powers of the psyche combine to form one entity. The Queen of Spheres represents a female aspect of the earth element. The gentle, almost imperceptible power of water and the static characteristics of earth build the nurturing ground for fertile growth. Beside the sensual mentality and the natural relationship to the instinctive part of her being, the Queen of Spheres also has a natural connection to the earth and a deeply rooted knowledge of the hidden secrets of nature. I'm going to reread that. Beside the sensual mentality and the natural relationship to the instinctive part of her being, the Queen of Spheres also has a natural connection to the earth and a deeply rooted knowledge of the hidden secrets of nature. The Queen of Spheres symbolizes the gentle being of a considerate mother and knowledge of the healing arts of nature. Creativity, patience, and persistence are a few of her character traits. Reread that. Creativity, patience, and persistence are a few of her character traits. In the spiritual sense, this card indicates that we can feel secure and comfortable in the lap of Mother Earth while opening our senses to the intelligence of Mother Nature. Astrological significance: Moon, Venus, Virgo, Earth, and water elements. Keywords: connection to nature, healing arts, motherliness, goodness, openness, rituals, shamanism, comfort, growth, persistence, creativity, composure. Traditional meaning: grounded, sensuality, instinctive healing, opulence, preservation and advancement of life, fertility, considerate, dependable, striving for harmony. So this is a very, very, very cool card. And again, for Samantha, for the person who we pulled this card for, speaking to you, but again, speaking to everyone here. When we pull cards like this, again, this is a card where it's not so much trying to say like, hey, here's your future. But sometimes it's really important to be able to pull these cards, to be able to hold up a mirror, to be able to say like, hey, here's a very, very important part of yourself that maybe you haven't really like honored a deeper connection with. Maybe recently. Maybe it's been kind of like unconscious. And this card specifically, you know, speaking to people who identify as females, but really speaking to anybody, this card is really calling us into that archetype of being able to like be a physical embodiment of the Mother Earth, of that motherly nature, of that like wisdom that we see within nature all around us. And this is why like this card is so important, because this is such a powerful thing that we need right now. You know, like people talk about this idea that like the future is going to be like the women are going to be the ones that are going to help like lead the future, because the women are like holding space to be able to create this softness for men to be able to feel their own softness. You know, like if it was just men, we'd be like hard, straight line, fight, push. Not to say there's anything wrong with that. It's just one side of a you know, it's one dynamic within a bigger equation. But for the woman to be able to be like relax, slow, soften, trust, reflect, connect, comfort, heal, those elements are super, super powerful. So for Samantha, again, I see this card as a very, very powerful card for you to just be able to be like, yes. I see that part of myself that has that innate wisdom of the entire intelligence of Mother Earth, but maybe I'm not bringing it into my everyday life in quite as much a way as perhaps it wants to be. There's probably a part of you that is probably like whispering, where it's just like, ooh, like I just want to be able to like hug the earth. I just want to be able to like teach people how to be able to like heal their own hearts. I want to be able to like teach people how to dig their hands into the garden, metaphorically, literally. And so for this card, it's really encouraging each and every one of us to reflect on what is the wisdom of Mother Nature teaching us. And this is like a thing, like this is a thing where like even for myself, like I resonate with this card too, because again, these are archetypes, and these are archetypes that we need to be aware of within ourselves in order to be able to reflect on the ways that we are going to show up. What does this world need right now? It needs the love of mothers. It needs that motherly love, and not literally to be like a mother. You don't have to be a mother in order to be motherly. And to be motherly is to be like deeply understanding, deeply trusting, and deeply wise. When you talk about the Mother Earth, you're also talking like the wisdom of the Mother Earth. You're also talking about the intelligence of nature. And what do we see in nature? We see extreme patience. We see extreme perseverance. We see this like dynamic, unfolding, fractal Mandelbrot of just natural creativity all around us. And yet nothing is rushed. Nothing is forced. Everything is gentle. Everything is just kind of like this natural unfolding process. And again, I think when juxtaposed to the male energy, which serves its purpose, which can be like drive, sometimes when we do that, we forget how valuable it is to just kind of be able to slow down and kind of go with a creative flow. Like, are there parts of ourselves that we're not actually allowing the creative channels to be able to like bring in the flow for, because we're like so focused on just kind of like getting that next thing done, moving into this next thing? But again, this card is very much about being able to learn from nature and to be able to understand that we are nature. And in the same way that you can sit under a tree and look at a tree and be able to be like seriously, if you have not done this yet, if you have not like sat from a tree and just sit in front of a tree and just be like, teach me, I am here, I am ready to receive. What do you have for me? If you have not spent at least like 10 minutes sitting in front of a tree and just looking at it and studying it, then do that. Absolutely do that. And there's nothing wrong. I'm not like shaming anyone for having done that, because again, they don't teach us this stuff. But that is just a very powerful example where, again, when you like sit there in front of a tree, I remember when I did this when I was younger, and I was like, oh my goodness, this tree is like a blueprint for reality. This tree is like showing me the literal like representation of like as above so below. this tree is teaching me that if you like turn it sideways, it becomes a model for time. Like, have you ever noticed that when you take a tree and you turn it sideways, it like points with branches in one direction, roots in the other, and then the trunk is like the now? And then you got like this quantum reality on both ends, kind of like fractaling out in infinite directions. Like, I remember when I like looked at a tree and I was like, oh my goodness, thank you, Mother Earth. Thank you, Mother within myself, for being able to like see the wisdom of something as simple as a tree. But again, not just to see like the model of a tree, but to see how it grows, to see its patience, to see how it plants its roots. So for this card, it's really encouraging us to like be able to like plant our roots in deep, like sovereign, like just like servitude and calmness, and to be able to just like deeply love and trust this process that's going to allow ourselves to move into more place of growth, to allow ourselves to move into more place of like of comfort. And like when you think about it, you know, we are all children of the earth. And how much would it benefit us to just be able to be like, you know, like we're still children. Like seriously, we're still children. And there's a part of us that is just like be like, oh, like, you know, like we're like these wounded children. And we're just like, oh, like I'm trying so hard, and sometimes things are just really difficult, and I keep hitting walls, and I'm just like a little bit flustered. And then like imagine how the energy of the mother can just kind of like bring this child, metaphorically and literally, into their arms and just be like, hug them physically and just be like, you're doing great. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Breathe, relax. And this is the thing. This is a powerful idea that I want you to be able to reflect on, Samantha. And again, for everybody here, I appreciate you being here. Please feel free to just drop comments. Like your engagement in the chat is totally appreciated, and I'll read your comments on air as we go through this. So you guys are a part of this discussion. But this is a very, very powerful idea. When we are trying to make decisions, if we are in a place of tenseness, and if we are in a place of like fear, it can be very, very hard for us to be able to like fully be able to see what options are in front of us. And it's not until we allow ourselves and give ourselves permission to relax that the answers begin to reveal themselves, that the answers begin to show themselves to us. And so this, Samantha, like this card is so powerful, because I want you to be able to realize that like whether you're doing this just for yourself, or whether you're doing this for other people, when you give people the permission to relax through your comfort, through your energy, you are helping them tap into the wisdom of their own heart. And that is such a powerful gift. Such a powerful gift. And again, then there's just a couple more things that I want to say here. And I got like spine tingles when I just said that. And again, I can see people in the comments. Susan saying, wow, this is profound for me. Susan, thank you. Susan, I'm super glad that you're able to tune in here. Susan's a person who I know in real life. And again, for a person who like definitely embodies the Queen of Spheres, the motherly energy, I'm glad to hear that, Susan. But what I was going to say here is that, and Paul, awesome. Paul, I can see Paul saying he needs to, he's recognizing he's going to listen to his body and take time to calm down and ease up the energy of the go, go, go. Absolutely. We all need that. So first of all, I'll say we need to be our own mothers. We need to know how to be able to treat ourselves as our own mother. Like, think about that. We need to be able to give ourselves permission to like give ourselves a hug, to give ourselves permission to calm down, to give ourselves permission to relax. And maybe that literally means going out to nature. Maybe that literally means like going into nature and hugging a tree and being in the presence of our mother. Like, that's the thing. Like, the motherliness of nature, it's in us, but we do need to go back to it to like plug back in and to recharge. But what I was going to say here that's so powerful, and this will be kind of like the last thing, and then we'll kind of wrap this up. And we did get a new Patreon supporter, so thank you. I'm going to give a huge shout out to them in a second, just as we finish up this broadcast. And there's totally room for more Patreon supporters as we keep rolling through this. And what I was going to say is that I want you to think, everybody here, Samantha, everybody here, Susan, everybody here, about the fact that back in the day, there were many cultures that lived in like a matriarch society where the females led. And specifically, what I find fascinating was the role of the female shamans. Think about that. Like, if that was an energy that we could bring back, how much would that change this earth? And again, the shamans were like the medicine people. They were the ones who could commune with spirit. They were the ones who saw the wisdom. The ignorance of man is something that can build up over time because we get so engaged with the physical materialistic world around us that we forget We forget our connection to the earth. We forget our connection to each other. We forget our connection to divinity. And it is the women, the female shamans, in addition to the men, who can also embody the feminine energy, but the shamans themselves were the ones to be able to specifically like be that bridge for that heart wisdom, for that wisdom of the earth. And Samantha, for everybody here, let the wisdom of the Mother Earth, of the motherliness, of the Mother Goddess speak through you, knowing that it is already speaking within your heart. And when you give yourself that calmness, you can hear it. And when you invite that calmness into other people's space, when you bring that into other people's space, you invite them to hear it. And when more people hear this, again, this is like, I was talking about this even in the broadcast earlier today, with the global climate strike and the global climate crisis right now, what we need, in addition to like, you know, like helping plant more trees and changing our resources, what we need is to know thyself. And the way in which we know thyself is through the wisdom of the mother and the father, but specifically through the wisdom of the mother. And that allows us to kind of relax and to tap into that wisdom of our heart. And so again, traditional meanings, grounded, sensuality, feeling, deep feeling, emotion. Again, like the spheres has a lot to do with the water, has a lot to do with the earth, has a lot to do with emotions. And then like the other part of this, the queen part, is also the merging of the earth. So this is like the emotional elements rooted with the earth. And so again, instinctive feeling, opulence, preservation and advancement of life, fertility, considerate, dependable, striving for humanity. So again, Samantha, I see this as being like a card that acknowledges your service to humanity. For everybody here, if you're listening to this, I see that. And I want you to be able to spend a little bit more time acknowledging the motherliness in yourself. Again, for some of you, you're just like, well, absolutely, I'm a female. Maybe I am a mother. I exude it. But for the males, I think it's very important for me to be able to say that you have permission to do this. And I give you this permission as well, for what it's worth. For what it's worth. For someone who, myself, being a Cancerian and being someone who has already gone through that like journey through my own experience of being able to be like, whoa, like I see the feminine within me and I'm still very masculine, but I use that feminine energy to be like something that speaks through me. I use it to be able to be something that allows me to tap into the wisdom. I use it to be something that continues to motivate and inspire me. So I become like this kind of like male female mix where it's like the wisdom of both and the strength of both as well. And so again, for the males here, give yourself permission to feel and acknowledge the motherliness within yourself. And again, that sounds very counterintuitive because a lot of society is just like, oh, males have to be this, males have to be that. The divine masculine is the masculine that acknowledges the strength and the wisdom of the mother within them. And to acknowledge that there's a lot for us to learn from the mother. So exactly. So I just want to read over some of the comments here. And again, for anybody else who resonates with this, please feel free to leave your comments down below and drop some 1111s if you resonate with this. I'm going to read any of the comments that come up on screen right now. So again, for anybody who wants to say something to the team, drop your comments and I'll read these on screen. And Samantha, let me know how this resonated with you. Paul says, 100% agree. Never make a decision when you're flustered or anxious. When we chase the answers, they seem to elude us. But when you can sit patiently and listen, the answers seem to come. Absolutely, Paul. That's exactly what I'm saying as well. Samantha says, this is incredible. I needed this tonight. I'm so grateful for your presence and energy. Samantha, thank you so much. That's exactly why we do this. Again, to be able to serve and help out the whole team here. So Samantha, thank you for allowing this card to be pulled through you. Samantha says, tapping into this motherly energy will be my new focus this week. Beautiful, Samantha. I'm so grateful to hear that. And again, you know, like that's the beauty of this, of us doing this as a team, is things happen here and then like it ripple effects. Samantha is now inspired to like bring a little bit more focus into this. And maybe this means that there's going to be like a conversation that she has where she's going to like really be present and holding space with someone and maybe kind of like verbally even communicate like and help guide them back to their motherliness within their heart. Again, I'm just presuming, but the possibilities are there in the same way they're there for anybody to continue these conversations, you know, just to be able to invite people and just be like, yeah, like, how do you, like asking yourself this, how do you relate with that motherliness with inside yourself? So again, The Queen of Spheres symbolizes the gentle being of a considerate mother and the knowledge of the healing arts of nature. That is important. The healing arts of nature. In the spiritual sense, this card indicates that we can feel secure and comfortable in the lap of the Mother Earth while opening our senses to the intelligence of nature. So again, this card is like totally just like meditate with the nature within ourselves, open ourselves up, expand into more of who we can be, and move forward with like this like extreme degree of like calmness and love and service and like deep wisdom. So Samantha, thank you so much for being able to be here. Samantha says, I've been out of touch with my maternity and motherly instincts lately, so I feel like this was definitely meant for me tonight. Breathtaking. Awesome, Samantha. Thank you so much. It's a beautiful thing for you to be able to share that with us. So thank you so much. And awesome. Susan says, fully agree with Samantha. Mine as well, my dear Brendan. Awesome. Thank you, Susan. Thank you so much, everyone. So again, that's a very powerful card. So good job, team. Good job, team, on doing that. Samantha, if you aren't already, please feel free to follow me on Facebook or Instagram. And you can send me a direct message there, and I can send you the screenshot for this card so that you can read this on your own time. Because I guarantee you, if you read this tomorrow, it will just kind of like help you kind of like recalibrate your focus and just kind of like give you even more insight. So for anybody here, go ahead and add me on either Facebook or Instagram and send me a direct message. So Samantha, if you're on Facebook, go ahead and send me a direct message on Facebook. If you're on Instagram, send me a direct message there. And for anybody else who wants the screenshot of this, the write-up, go ahead and let me know. All right, so with that said, we are going to move into our next reading, and our next reading is actually going to be for our first Patreon supporter for the night, and that is for Skylar. So Skylar, thank you so much. Skylar, I know Skylar, we'd actually talked to you, you tuned in before, and we were talking about you signing up, so I'm happy to be able to see you signed up tonight, and thank you so much for joining us again. And yes, so what we'll do, we'll move into the next reading for Skylar. And again, we're working towards our objective of being able to have at least 2 new Patreon signups tonight. If we get a 3rd Patreon sign up tonight, then I'm going to do a special reading from this new Oracle deck that I have. So this is a Lightworkers Oracle deck. So this is like a very cool deck. We've only done 1 reading from this deck so far. And this is like a special deck that I like to save. It's not tarot. It's an Oracle deck, but it's specifically like a Lightworkers Oracle deck. So we already did one this morning. So that will be if we get a 3rd person signed up tonight. So again, thank you so much, everyone, for your support. We'll get into the next reading again with Samantha. I just want to be able to invite people that if they enjoyed this, then absolutely please feel free to just like share it with your friends. Make sure that you're tuned in again. Our next broadcast will be at 10 a.m. Tomorrow, Tuesday morning. So hey, you can tune in again and get some more insight and inspiration. And again, I'm sharing the link for the Patreon into the chat. It only takes about 3 minutes to sign up for the Patreon. You can sign up for $3, $5, $11 if you want to get the Lumerian crystals. And you can also sign up for like $100. You can sign up for $1,000. Honestly, it's entirely relative. Like if someone were to sign up for $1,000, I'd be like, sweet, thank you. If someone were to sign up for $3, I'd be like, sweet, thank you. Because it's all relative, right? So I appreciate everybody. And again, when you sign up at the $11 or higher, that gives you the chance to get one of the beautiful Lumerian crystals. And again, you signing up helps continue in our ability to be able to provide awesome value for the community. So you can really see what we're doing here is probably quite different from most tarot readings that you've been tuned into, where like we're providing the readings for the team, but we're speaking through an individual, and we're being able to create support that allows us to continue to do this for the entire community. So thank you, everyone, for being here and for acknowledging the value that we are creating here as a team, and for continuing to carry this inspiration further with you. Like that's the idea, right? You turn into this broadcast. Yes, it's entertaining. Yeah, you're probably going to smile at some point and just be able to enjoy yourself. But at the same time, this is a call to action. This is a chance for us to be able to reflect on what is needed. And again, so that idea of like the motherliness being something that we want to be able to reflect on. So important. So again, thank you so much, everyone. Here's another one of the, look at this chunky Light Guardian crystal. This is a chunky one. I'll show you if I can find it. I'm not sure if I have it exactly within arm's reach. But we do also have like the Light Guardian crystals also change color. Well, actually, I was already showing that on the Lumerian. So, oh, and here's like a super dope red one. And it's funny because like, yes, these absolutely do look like lightsabers. That's essentially like what they're designed to look like. These are like ancient Atlantean technology. And they're also meant to look like lightsabers, like Excalibur. These in themselves are like encoded with like the same magic of Excalibur, symbolically. So it's very cool to be able to like have these to share. And again, these are Light Guardian crystals, The light guardian is the archetype that we talk about through the Paradigm Shift Central project, where we encourage people to like see themselves as guardians of light. As again, a shifter is the other term, someone who is intentionally helping assist with the shift in consciousness. So if that's you, then you're here for this broadcast for a reason. And please feel free, if you haven't yet, be sure to connect with our team. And I'm just going to post a link real quick for our newsletter. We got live broadcasts for our team on Thursdays as well. And you can subscribe to the newsletter and explore more at paradigmshiftcentral.com. And yeah, that will be at Thursday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you sign up at the $11, then you can become a leading member in the community. And that's like specifically for people who like want to be able to like work with me in collaborating, creating content, helping getting featured to a wider audience, and also to be able to join on future broadcasts on air, to be able to share your story. So there's a lot of awesome value that we create there. So I'm just going to post a link for the newsletter into the chat. Please feel free to sign up for that. That's totally free to sign up for the newsletter. And again, that's a way for us to be able to provide awesome value to you. Awesome. Thank you so much again to those of you joining in on Twitch as well. I see you guys' comments there. And we'll just check in real quick for everybody hanging out here. And we'll get right into that next reading with Scarlett as well. Scarlett, our newest Patreon supporter. So if you're tuning into this, please feel free to share this broadcast. And yeah, join us again for future ones. And awesome. Thank you so much, Ben. I see your comments. Thank you so much for joining in. Jessica, thank you so much for being here. Jamelia, awesome. Thank you so much. And again, for those of you who are here, please feel free to share this link. What we're going to do our next reading for Skylar, because she was the person who signed up for the Patreon during our live broadcast tonight. And the next reading, as we get into this reading, will be for the next person who signs up for the Patreon. And again, it only takes about 3 minutes to sign up for the Patreon. So if you're interested in signing up for the Patreon, go ahead and even just type in the chat and just be like, yo, I'm going to sign up. Skylar, do you prefer to go by Skylar, or would you like to go by Scarlett? Because we had a Scarlett was who we had on earlier in the like this morning. As Scarlett was the new Patreon sign-up. So that's cool. Awesome. Thank you again, everyone. Again, if you have like general questions, just to be able to give you some understanding of how we do things here, I invite you to just kind of be open to the intention of show me what I need to see. And to be able to like allow any information to come through during this broadcast. But I don't necessarily like answer specific questions from the chat when it comes to like questions about the future and stuff like that. Did I call you Scarlett, Skylar? Wait, what? Wait, okay, that's weird. Apparently, like, Skylar says that some people accidentally confuse her name with Scarlett, and I like just called her Scarlett by accident. That was weird. That's funny. Okay, Skylar. I'll go by Skylar then. I like Skylar. That's very cool. All right, so again, we'll do this next reading for Skylar. And that's weird. People do that a lot, though the names don't sound the same. Weird. Apparently I picked up on some energy there, and that's why I said Skylet. That's funny. All right, so we'll do this next reading for Skylar, and we'll keep an eye open for the next person to sign up for the Patreon. And again, if we get one more person sign up for the Patreon, we'll do a reading for them. If we get another person, a third person, then we'll do the reading from the Lightworkers deck tonight. So again, being able to work towards our objectives of earning more support on the Patreon, which again just helps support us and being able to do more awesome stuff. And I'll just create a little bit more context with the Patreon. That is also something that's going to allow me to eventually be able to like open up into new opportunities to travel. I want to be able to do more traveling. I want to like be able to go to places where you are, to do free hugs with you, to do events, to like host workshops and things like that. So this is kind of the long-term plan. And by us doing this broadcast, and by being able to like bring on every broadcast, by bringing on a little bit more Patreon support bit by bit by bit, that grows over time. That's like an investment of transmutation of energy and service into like more prosperity for the community. And this is about being able to increase our global impact. And we've been creating a lot of global impact. So again, I thank everyone for hanging out here. All right, let's get into this next reading. And again, we'll keep an eye open for another Patreon sign up during the broadcast. If you do have any questions about the Patreon, please feel free to let me know. And we'll move into this next reading for Skylar. And thank you again, Skylar, for signing up on the Patreon. So again, sign up for the Patreon if you want to be the next person to get this reading for. And Samantha, thank you again if you're still there. for being our first reading for the night, and thank you everyone for being able to help support what we got going on here as a team. And go ahead and please feel free to share this broadcast on Facebook if you haven't yet. If you can share this broadcast to a few groups, like if you don't mind, if anybody's watching this on Facebook and if you're just like, yeah, I can share this to a few of my like spiritual groups, please do that. Hopefully you won't get banned like me, and only till September 30th. And again, in doing that, you're helping more people to be able to connect with the insight and the inspiration that we bring through for the community here. So it's a cool way for us to be able to use these broadcasts as a tool to be able to connect with more people. So sweet. Let's get right into this next reading. So Skylar, are you ready for your reading? So I just invite everybody here to be able to drop into the wisdom of their heart and just be able to open ourselves up to the intention of show me what I need to see. So thanking everyone again for hanging out here, for being a part of the team, for shifting the paradigms. All right. Awesome. All right, so we'll go into this next reading here. And awesome, we did get another Patreon sign up right there. So we're on 2 Patreon signs. Oh, sweet. Let me just, okay, hold on. Keep holding that attention. I'm just going to update the on-screen graphics before we get too into this. So we did just get a new sign up. Thank you so much, Paul Richardson in the YouTube chat. Thank you so much for signing up. That puts us at 117 towards our goal of 155. So thank you for helping us help other people. And I'm just going to type in the names here on screen, and that way so you guys can totally take pride in having your name on screen during the broadcast here, and you'll get mentioned in the newsletter as well. So you can see there 117 out of 150, working towards our goal. Thank you so much, Paul. And again, we'll move into this next reading, and seriously, like, so we'll work to, oh, that's Paul, you signed up at 11:11. I don't know if you noticed that, like on my clock it's like literally 11:11 on the inbox. Some bonus points there, Paul. That's pretty cool. All right, so again, we'll move right into this next reading for Skylar, and again, we'll move into another reading for Paul. And if we can get one more reading, then we can do a reading for the Lightworker deck. So, and yeah, and then from there, we'll probably wrap it up. I don't need to stay up too late, but we'll be back here again at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Skylar, let's do this. All right, everybody here, drop into your intention of the heart. Just allow yourself to be in the space of gratitude, community, love. Beautiful. Happy 11/11 for those of you in Eastern Standard Time. And Skylar, when you're ready, allow yourself to be in that intention of show me what I need to see. And for everybody here, for everybody listening, just take a moment, close your eyes, practice here. Put forth that intention. Show me what I need to see. We're all connected in this moment. And Skylar, you're familiar. Take a moment here. No rush. Give me a few moments to just kind of like do some flowetry. And when you're ready, type now into the chat. So I'm going to charge this up real quick. One more. All right. So we'll keep an eye open for Skylar to type now into the chat. And for everybody here, keep holding that intention. And so as we feel the vibrations move up our spine, we remember that it is through this journey of time in which we come into this place to remember how to learn, to remember how to give birth to all the things that we yearn for on this quest of great discovery, on this nasa te ipsum, as we remember who we are, as we remember our mission. To change this world through the power of our art, to change this world through the power of our heart, to inspire one another, to be mirrors for infinite growth, to allow ourselves to be a part of this cosmic rebirth. And so I see each of you tuning in as a reflection of me as we continue to grow into new realms of infinity, and waiting for the now from Skylar to appear in the chat, and then we will pull the card and see what message the universe has. Hope you guys like my sound effects. Put a lot of work into them. So Skylar, if you haven't already yet, go ahead and type now into the chat. Within these cosmic winds, we allow the whispers to come forth. We allow ourselves to remember what has been always here and now. And now there's the split on the deck, and there's a card that we pulled. can you feel the dopamine? Can you feel the dopamine of just like, ooh, what's that card? What's it gonna be? Like, it feels like Christmas all over again, type of thing, or whatever thing gets you excited. When I always pull a card, it always like I always get the same reaction of like when I used to like open Pokemon cards back in the day. So so we'll take a look at the card that we got here. And let me charge it up with the Light Guardian Crystal. Again, these Light Guardian Crystals, these things are super useful. Use these as ceremonies. You can use these as like energy tools for like Reiki and stuff. So the card that we got here, pulled for Skylar, our one of our newest Patreon supporters, thank you again, is Swords 4. So allow me 2 seconds here as we open this up to the book. And then from there, I'm going to go into the reading, and then we're going to go a little bit deeper and see what this card has for us. So 4 of Swords. Here it is. All right. So looking at the card that we got here, again, for everybody here, just allow yourself to just open yourself up to the wisdom that is coming forth in this moment. If you're here, this reading is for you. So thank you again, everybody. For those of you joining in on Instagram, you can go to my Instagram story and swipe up. Skylar makes a comment about Mario Kart. That's cool. All right, so looking at the card here. This card here, Swords 4. Visual image that we got here. We've got like the swords pointing in opposite directions. One pointing down, one pointing up, one pointing left, one pointing right. We've got like this ground underneath them. And we've got the heavens up above, kind of the night sky kind of shining. And the swords are kind of transparent. And yeah, and then there's like a few little like clouds. Interesting formation in the clouds. Almost kind of looks like puzzle pieces kind of coming together. And a beautiful landscape in the background with some like rolling hills and mountains there. So very cool. All right, so let's go into 4 of Swords. And again, for everybody here, please feel free to just listen and open your heart. And again, if you're here, this reading is for you. And again, as we're doing this, we'll do another reading for Paul after this, our other Patreon supporter. But if anybody else wants to sign up for the Patreon, you can still get a reading during the broadcasts as well, or a private reading. And you can help us reach our goal of 3 Patreon supporters during this broadcast. So thank you again to everybody for being here and for tuning in. All right. 4 of Swords. The image. Hinting at the form of a cross, 4 glass swords hover before an opening in the sky, pointing to the different directions. Meaning, the 4 of Swords points to finding the pathway to inner truth. This can be through decoding the unconscious, interpreting dreams, or reflecting upon the value of past experiences and their evaluation for future undertakings. Whichever form is chosen, it has the goal of returning a state to natural order. The conditions for this are inner collection and concentration. To achieve this state through inner peace is necessary in order to recall inherent powers and make use of their possibilities. I'll just reread that. The conditions for this are inner collection and concentration. To achieve this state, inner peace is necessary in order to recall inherent powers and make use of their possibilities. Once set free, mental powers can be activated to work against the negative effects of worry and fear. If the inner call to peace and recuperation is ignored, it can be that the body reacts with sickness. To support the process of becoming more conscious, it is meaningful to use current gifts and talents constructively. These consist of, among other things, the ability to write, to teach, and to differentiate. If inner actions are brought into the light of conscious thinking, a clear boundary is made to the outer world. Astrological significance, Mercury, Neptune, square aspects. Keywords: meditation, reflection, dream interpretation, order, finding oneself, awareness, processes, organizational abilities. Traditional meaning: standstill, limitation, pause, gathering new strength, forced rest, planning phase. Awesome. All right, I'm just going to restart. I just have to restart the Instagram feed real quick. Just give me 2 seconds here as I just have to do this. And and we'll get right into this. So again, for everybody here, thanks so much for joining in once again. And just give me 2 seconds here. I just have to copy a thing over real quick. If you guys are just here, please feel free to just send some love in the comments. And even if you want to post your social media links in the chats, please feel free to do that. Like if you want to just like put your tag for your Instagram, please feel free to do that. That way so people here can connect, because we're all tribe, we're all family here. All right. Okay, restarted on the Instagram feed. Thank you so much. All right, let's get right into this. Okay, so Four of Swords. So this card, first of all, when it comes to the cards, I'll just like kind of, again, I hope by you watching this, you're also kind of like learning about a little bit of tarot, and again, like how like you can kind of like create your own styles with it. And I'm still learning too, right? This is just practice for me too, right? Let's be honest. But again, with this card, when it comes to the swords are often something that we associate with the mind. So when it comes to the Four of Swords, we can immediately kind of like bring this to the idea that are like, okay, this is about connection. This is about facilitating the abilities of the mind. This is about thinking. This is about reflection. And so this card has a lot to do with this idea of kind of like being not so much at a crossroad, but more so about being able to like bring ourselves into that moment of now where we can be able to perceive the past and the future regardless of where we are. And so this is like very important, because it's really about being able to like plan ahead for that next phase by being able to practice slowing down. And this is, again, like oftentimes when we do these broadcasts, what's really interesting is that you'll actually notice that like the cards will actually create a sequence of a bigger story. So again, the Queen of Spheres actually relates to this, because if we take in the concept of the Queen of Spheres and that motherliness and that calmness and that kind of like ability to reflect, this card is kind of going off of that, but going a little bit deeper. So for Skylar, I really see this card as being able to to reflect and evaluate your past as you get ready to move into the future, to be able to like really bring with you what you need into that next step, into that next chapter, into that next phase, into that next level of the game. So if you were like playing a game and everything like that, you know, like it's like, oh, you're finishing up that dungeon level, but did you get everything in the dungeon? Like, oh, there's still like a couple rooms on the map. You didn't explore those yet. Maybe there's something there that you might actually want to go back to. Maybe there's something there that you want to reevaluate. Maybe there's something there that you want to dive into a little bit further without feeling like you need to rush into that next chapter. And of course, see that as a metaphor. But again, when you do that, you may find like, oh, sweet, there was like actually like an extra heart piece there. Like obviously this is like a Legend of Zelda reference, right? There was an extra like heart piece there. And that was valuable because that's actually something that you want. And you're going to be able to like bring more with you as you get ready to move into that next level. And so like, and maybe there was like something even more important. Maybe there was like even something where it's like, yo, it's like, don't forget like the hook shot. Like, I don't think you can actually get forward without using the hook shot or something like that. But again, it's like definitely an important thing to be able to just make sure that, as it literally says here, we are reflecting on the value of past experiences and their evaluation for future undertakings. So what has the past, how, this is the important question. This is such an important question that we should all ask ourselves. How has the past prepared us for the future? How has the past continued to prepare us for where we are now, and specifically for the future? Not did the past prepare me for the future, but how has it prepared me for the future? And when we ask these questions, we can really dive deep, and we can really begin to like see the gifts. We can really be able to like deepen ourselves into more gratitude. And so again, for Skylar, I really see this as like a super important card to be able to like make sure and acknowledge the fact that like there are certain things within your life that you're kind of like getting ready to like move into a next chapter to. Now, of course, yeah, I'm saying that in a general sense because we all kind of like, we're always moving into new chapters, and chapters are kind of always overlapping. So it's always kind of relative. But for any of us, as we move into those new chapters, instead of always just thinking like, oh, sweet, that thing in front of me has all of my attention, make sure that we're not leaving anything behind. make sure that, again, we're kind of like using this Four of Swords to remind us of like the cross. The cross is like the center point. It's the focal point. It's the focus. It's the reticle. It's the lotus. It's the opportunity to be able to like make sure that we slow down, again, kind of like the Queen of Spheres, and we reflect, we meditate, and we find awareness as much as we can about ourselves through the past experiences so that we can bring that wisdom with us into that next level. And to practice doing this so that we're being organized as well, so that we're being able to like extract as much as we can from those lessons of the past to bring it with us into the future. Because like that's the thing, like I've kind of talked about this before in other readings, but like we need to think of ourselves as students. This is a great metaphor, and I think it really puts things into place. We need to think of ourselves as cosmic students. And when we think of ourselves as cosmic students, you can understand the importance of making sure that we're studying, that we're paying attention. So say, for example, the universe was like, all right, here's your assignment, read chapters 4, 5, and 6 of the textbook. And then maybe you just kind of skim it and you're just like, okay, there, I read it. But did you really read it? Did you really read it? Did you take notes? Did you like actually pay attention, or did you just kind of do it just so you could get it done? And then you'll know whether or not you did or you didn't based on the fact that eventually the universe is going to be like, hey, pop quiz, we're going to test you. And if you didn't fully study in a way that a good student should, then that test may be a little awkward. That test may be like, oh man, like, oh, okay, like there's some things here that like I think I should have known this, but I didn't really know this, but maybe this is actually showing me that there's like more for me to be able to look at. And maybe if I can get one more chance on this quiz, I'll actually go back and review my notes and then bring this forward with me into this next phase for us to be able to move forward so that we can graduate. So again, Skylar, how can you become the best cosmic student you can be? How can any of us become the best cosmic student that we can be? And this means that before we jump into that next chapter, and maybe we're getting really excited about it, that again, we do so in this very zen, calm, chill state, while making sure that we've extracted everything that we need from that past, that we've gone to all the different rooms in the dungeon, that we've gone and explored all the things we need within our own heart. And we've done like the interpretation. We've even looked at our own life as like a parable. And so that's why this is actually even talking about dream interpretation as well. So in addition, like for those of you who are kind of on the level of dream interpretation, in the same way, you would look at a dream, and you don't always have to take it literally, but you take it as a parable, and you be able to like make sure that instead of just being like, wow, that was a crazy dream, and then you just move on. As a student, if you were just like, okay, that was a dream that like showed me something really important. It showed me an important part of myself, and this is what I got out of it, and this is why I saw it. And then suddenly it clicks, and you're like, oh, that's why that dream showed up, because I needed me to be able to see a certain part of myself. So pay attention. What has happened in your past? And go back, again, use your tools here. It literally says, like using tools like journaling, like writing, like reflecting, and make sure that you really be able to like look back on the past from a place of gratitude and being able to be like, what was given to me in this experience? And those experiences might not always be like fun. They can be hard. They can be challenging. But can you literally be able to see how whatever the experience was served you? And again, it's not did it, it's how did it. That deeper wisdom, again, the wisdom of the mother, the Queen of Spheres we were talking about earlier, tells us that whatever we experience is for us. Like that's the thing. The universe is not just here to make us happy. It is here to evolve our consciousness. And it does that through giving us what we need, through the lessons, through the highs and the lows, and the ability to rise through it as a catalyst. So again, the Four of Swords points to finding the pathway to inner truth. So what is the inner truth? The inner truth is revealed when we look deeply at what it is that we are going through, when we become an active student in the lessons that are being put in front of us, instead of just like a passerby type thing, instead of just being like more passive. This can be through decoding the unconscious, interpreting dreams, or reflecting upon the value of past experiences and their evaluation for future undertakings. And another thing I'll just say here, and Skylar, I'm going to read your comment in a second, is to really be able to acknowledge and honor how experience of the past made us feel. That's super important, because especially when it comes to dreams, sometimes it can be really hard to kind of like get clear on what that dream meant. But if we can get clear on how it made us feel, then that's valuable data. That's valuable data that gives us more insight on what that next thing is, like that we can carry with us. That's going to give us more wisdom within our own heart to be able to help get clear on making decisions moving forward. I was actually talking about this with someone earlier today. Like they're just like going through all these things, and they were talking about their past, and they were just like, oh, like I didn't feel right about this, and I'm not sure about this, and my heart's telling me this thing. And I was just like, that's great, because that is data. Use that data, pay attention to it, take notes on it. How did it make you feel? And use that to be able to be like, oh, moving forward, I'm going to make this decision, and I'm going to plan things, because this is the wisdom that I have gained through paying attention to the data that I received. Skylar, I'm going to read your comment here. That's so crazy. That's why I write poetry, to remind myself of where I was in that moment of trauma, pain, happiness, love, gratitude, etc. It's been a huge facilitator in evolving into the person I want to be. A lot of times we go through a hurt, a soul-crushing hurt, and are so focused on healing that we don't remember the hurt, that we end up in the same place because we forgot to recognize what the lessons we were supposed to learn. I love this. Thank you. Thank you. I needed that reminder. Skylar, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I think that's a beautiful example, again, of like using poetry. That's a very, very powerful way for us to sometimes be able to like connect with our emotions. So I would use like Skylar's like practice there for anybody here. Like if you're trying to like think on the past, again, kind of like ask yourself this question, like, where have I been? What have I done? Who am I now? Where am I going? Those simple questions are questions I ask myself every now and then that are great for just being able to reflect. But you can kind of answer those questions maybe in the song, maybe in poetry, maybe in song, maybe in art, maybe in a way that's going to allow you to be able to connect with the wisdom of your heart and to be able to see like, oh, this is me seeing myself. Because that's the thing, like we get so caught up in like orchestrating this physical body that sometimes we don't even see ourselves, and we need to treat ourselves almost as like another person. Sometimes we need to treat ourselves like our beloved, and we need to ask ourselves, because like in the same way, if you're in a relationship, like for me at least, as a Cancerian, knowing how the other person feels is something that I really value. So if another person's like telling me how they feel, I'm just like, thank you for telling me this, because it's important to me to know how you feel. Think about how you would act that way with another person. Do you act that way with yourself? And can you act more so in alignment with that practice, so that you're actually checking in with yourself and you're just like, hey self, how did this feel? What about this experience like was important to you? What didn't feel right? What felt great? What did you want out of this? How did this align? How did this help you get even more clear on like where your values are? And so for example, just a quick example, when it comes to like relationships, not even just romantic, say for example that there's something and there's just like a lack of clear communication. As an example, something common, something we've all experienced. You go through that experience and maybe it's a little bit rough and you're just like, oh geez, man, this is frustrating. But out of that, you're just like, oh wow, I'm glad I had that experience, because it actually really helps me remind myself that I value clear communication, and I'm going to make sure that that's something that I focus on in my next relationship, right? So you can see like how you needed that experience in order to be able to bring that forth with you. But if you didn't reflect on that, if you were just like, like, oh, that relationship, something didn't work, but you didn't really reflect on the fact that it was because of the lack of clear communication, and then you move into your next relationship, and then suddenly like it's in the exact same phase, but because you didn't really reflect, you didn't have those values, you didn't create the boundaries, you didn't create the container, because you didn't create the awareness of what it was that created the situation from the past, and therefore it's echoing into the future. And I'm sure we've all experienced this, myself, Skylar, anyone, I'm sure we've experienced this, where we go through a period where we don't actually like consciously interpret a lesson, and then because of this, the lesson actually comes back. It actually like literally will come back to us. And again, that's what I'm talking about. That's the universe like doing a pop quiz, where it's like, here's your test, here's your experience. And again, like you don't fail. Whether you fail or pass is kind of relative, because there's still a meaningful experience that will come out of either. But your objective is to be able to accelerate the rate in which you graduate. Do you want to remain in grade 3 for like the rest of your life? Absolutely not. You want to graduate. You want to go to 4 or 5, grade 12, OAC, graduation, university, cosmic college. I feel like that should be a thing. It is. And so how do you do that? By graduating, by passing the test, by paying attention. So you've seen this within your friends who find themselves in the same situation over and over and over again. That is an example of what happens when you're not using those skill sets for meditation to be able to reflect on the past, to be able to bring forth that wisdom and extract it from those lessons and to integrate it and to embody it and to bring it with you into that next chapter and to get more clear on like, what is it that I want? And really ask yourself that, you know, like what is it that you want? You're allowed to ask yourself that. And then ask yourself to be able to, like, I say this multiple times, but ask yourself, like, what is the wisest move I can make? If you ask yourself that and listen to your heart, practice and listen to that, like, inner motherly wisdom, that can bring forth a lot of strength, a lot of power. So I'm just going to read Skylar's comment. For anybody else here, we'll get close to wrapping up this card in the next little bit. For anybody else here, please feel free to let me know if this reading resonated for you. So again, this reading was for Skylar, but this is a reading for the team. So I keep saying this, but I'll say it again because there's always new people tuning in. If you're tuned into this message is for you. And so let us know in the comments, drop some 1111s if this resonated with you, and let us know like how this resonated with you as well. Paul, I'm going to read a little, some of your comments in a second. I'm just going to read Skylar's comment here. And Skylar, let me know how else this resonated with you. Skylar says, I encourage everyone to write. It started as a way to stop the record player of thoughts in my mind. If I could get it on paper, it was there and not in my mind. And a lot of times after writing it, putting it away and forgetting about the situation, it comes back later and I read it, and then I would finally click the thing that I need and bring myself to a higher level of self-love and consciousness. Skylar, that's so powerful. And I think just to get the assist off of that, yes, for everybody here, there's so much value in being able to write things down opposed to trying to keep everything in our head. Like if you're just trying to keep everything in your head, it just builds up and it gets very frustrating for the mind to be able to operate. When you write things down, you literally like, it's like you're putting it on an external thumb drive and then you're just kind of like putting it, you know, off to the side for the time being, and then you can access it later, but it clears up space for other things. It clears up space for more focus. So again, like that's why like at the end of the day, it's great to do what's called a brain dump, where you just kind of like reflect on your day. What lessons did you learn? What did you go through? How did you feel? Write it out, type it into your computer, whatever works for you, get it on paper, get it out of your head. And then you open yourself up to just being in more of that relaxed place. That way, so you don't fall asleep, like thinking about that thing that you were like, you know, previously preoccupied. So literally understand that your brain is like a file system, and you can export files temporarily onto the paper or the computer through writing about it. And then you clear open the space for like more clarity. Because again, if your hard drive's full and there's like a new idea that's trying to download itself into your consciousness, it's like, sorry, I can't download this because there's not enough space. So you got to kind of like move things around. And again, that's what this card's about. It really is that. So again, it's about organizational abilities, cognitive organizational abilities as well. Think about that. How often do we think about that? How often are we organizing our mind? How often are we organizing our perception, our thoughts, our feelings? We don't really get taught to think about it that way, but I think that in itself is a very, very powerful way. So again, awareness processes, finding oneself, interpretation, dream interpretation, reflection, meditation, gathering new strength, forced rest, planning phase. Oh, that's the other thing in this card where it specifically says that if we don't slow down, then the body has this amazing thing that it will do where it will force us to slow down, sometimes by making us sick. Like physically sick. How oftentimes have you seen people do this? They're just like go, and then suddenly they just get a cold. And that's like literally the body's way of just being able to be like, hey, like if you're not going to rest, we're going to make you rest. So you don't have to let it get to that. Again, like this is what your life should look like. It should look like, you know, like up, rest, 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 up, rest, 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 up, rest, rest, rest. It should be like a nice wave, opposed to being like go, and then boom, crash. And then you get stuck in this place, and then you have to rebuild momentum. You want to keep momentum going with this constant state of like action, rest, inhale, exhale. And when you get good at doing that, you maintain momentum and you maintain uptime and you maintain this ability to be able to learn lessons at a much more effective rate, instead of being able to like, you know, like go, and then crash. And then it takes you like a month to be able to regain your momentum. Regaining your momentum after you crash is hard. That's challenging. That takes a lot of strength. It's not impossible. There's a skill to it itself. There's a reason to that itself. But you don't have to do that. You can give yourself the gift. What would you prefer, right? Would you prefer to like have a dark night of the soul once a month? Like, would you schedule that in? Probably not. You probably get very tired of that. But again, If you get good at resting, that's what this card is about. This card is basically saying, like, you know, practice resting as a part of the work. Create time to rest, create time to reflect, create time to look back, create time to extract the lessons of the past. Bring those with you into that next stage of the future, and allow yourself to bring even more insight, more data, more wisdom, more clarity, more inspiration, not just for yourself, but so you can continue to show up for others as well, so that you can fill your fountain, and then the overflow from that will serve others as well. You want to be in your like prime A game to the best of your ability. Optimize your uptime. And this optimizing the uptime means you learning how to optimize your downtime, your rest time. And your rest time is your uptime when you really look at the bigger picture. Skylar says, this quote is all I can keep thinking. You are a physical manifestation of the conversation in your head. I needed to be reminded of that. Yeah, very much. So what is the conversation that we are having in our head? Because we literally become that. And if our conversation is like, I am someone who honors rest. I am someone who is like being able to honor this ability of like, you know, this is a super powerful quote. Slow is steady and steady is fast, you know? Like that's actually like that idea is super powerful, because when we're slow, like again, like that idea of when we're slow, we actually have like more ability to be able to make wiser decisions. If we're just focusing on fast, we're going to make a mistake. But if we're like slow and steady, that actually creates like a much, like, you know, you reach your objective sooner than just trying to go fast and making mistakes along the way. So what is the best optimized path for you to be able to get to follow for your future? And how is that path cultivated? By you reflecting on your past, by going slow, by taking the time to meditate. So again, Skylar, thank you so much. Go ahead and let me know if there's any additional insight that you would even just like to be able to share, and how else this resonated with you. And I appreciate your comments, Skylar. It's very awesome, again, just being able to have everybody adding their voice in here. I'm just going to scroll up a little bit. I saw Paul left some comments as well. Paul says, I was just about to say that the Four of Swords is connected to the Queen of Spheres. More of an elaboration on how to connect to the motherly energy, how to pull something deeper from what you desire. Absolutely, Paul. Not to mention how the equinox is a literal transition from the next season of chapter, and how we slow down to find the balance within us to help guide us through the next season. Absolutely, Paul. Yes, thank you for literally stating that. If it wasn't something that like I explicitly said, again, the theme of this broadcast is a theme of being able to like listen to what is needed right now. Absolutely. Equinox lessons right now are all about being able to like find balance, all about being able to kind of like slow down, chill out, reflect, harvest, yield, and then get ready for that next season. You know, we got to prepare. We got winter coming and everything like that. We got to prepare, you know. The White Walkers are at the wall, so whatever that means to you. Paul says, I agree with Skylar. I journal, and getting it down onto paper, it's amazing how much of a release it can be, like a weight lifted off your chest, and then you go back and read it. Very, very powerful. Thank you, Paul, as well. Found in Wonderland, thanks so much for joining in, especially if this is your first time, and saying I need to write down more things. Thank you. I needed that reminder. Awesome. Thank you so much, Found in Wonderland. I'm so glad to know that, again, people are just being able to get additional inspiration from this. So good job on that, team. Skylar, good job on that. So again, just seeing this card is a very powerful reminder to be able to like practice slowing down, practice tapping into that motherly permission to be able to slow down, listen to that wisdom of the heart, reflect, show up as good cosmic students, pay attention to where we want to go, get clear on our virtues, our values, put things in books and journals, give ourselves a little bit of space within our own mind, get more clarity, open ourselves up to seeing more of the bigger picture, more of the choices, more of the wisdom, and moving forward, and then move forward in your best version of yourself, in like the part of yourself that is like wise and responsible and inspired and empowered. So Skylar, I really see this as being a very powerful card that's reminding you that you're on this right, like I feel this with you, Skylar, like you're doing this. Like you're kind of like again, this card is really like affirmation, where you're just like, yes, these practices are important to me, and I'm already doing them, and maybe there's like things where I'm going to even integrate a little bit more of this practice. And again, for you to really just be able to acknowledge the work that you're doing, Skylar, I think it's beautiful. And I really, again, appreciate you just sharing your comments. And again, I know other people got inspiration out of just hearing what you said as well. So good job, everyone. Skylar says, thank you so much for that again. I have a lot of different endeavors going on, and it's been a little crazy. Been feeling super overwhelmed. I needed this. Can you send me the screenshot? They asked. Skylar, absolutely. I'll send you the screenshot through Facebook. Absolutely. And then, yeah, you can read that afterwards and see what it says there as well. And so again, this is like a little like mantra that, or just an idea that I want everyone to kind of keep in mind. I want, and I've said this before in other broadcasts, but I'll say it again because it's very powerful. I want everyone to be able to invite themselves, to give themselves permission to know that there is always time for one more breath. Think about that. Think about that. So like, say you're about to do something and maybe you're just like about to move into it. Remind yourself there's always time for one more breath. And that one breath, if you can get good at that, that one breath can like really just kind of like bring you into that center, bring you into that clarity, bring you into that zen, bring you into like that matrix neo mode where you're just like blocking those punches from the Agent Smith, from like the challenges of the world and things like that. And yeah, and just allow yourself to like really move forward as like a super cosmic badass that you are. So Skylar, thank you for being a super cosmic badass. And thank you so much for your support on the Patreon. Skylar, super excited. And Skylar, let me know if you're interested in getting a Lumerian Light Guardian Crystal. Actually, I know we already talked about this, and you're definitely interested in getting one. And again, by signing up at the $11 level, you can also let me know if you want to be able to connect further as a part of the leading members within our community. And thank you so much for your support and for allowing us to be able to pull that card on behalf of the team. Super, super powerful. So good job, Skylar. Good job, everyone, for being able to collectively hold that intention. Awesome. Leo says, this is really great. Inspired. Thank you. So easy to get caught in the go train and then even feel guilty. Really no wrong. Leo, thank you so much. Yeah, that's an interesting thing, right? That society has kind of conditioned us to feel guilty for slowing down, for feel guilty for like resting and taking self-care. Like, absolutely not. Like, we need to take honor and being able to ask ourselves the important question of what do we need? What do we need? And ask ourselves that wisdom, like that wisdom will come from the heart. You know, the wisdom of the mother within us will be like, you need to rest. You need to slow down. You need to go into nature. You need to hug a tree. You need to journal. You need to listen to some chill music. You need to like dance. You need to move your body. You need to like physically embody. You need to surround yourself with like more like-minded people. You need to start getting your art out there. You need to start taking practice and being able to just like express your voice, get your content created, and allow more people to be able to express their gratitude to you. That's just going to fuel you even more. Again, I'm just kind of extrapolating along that a little bit more. Awesome. Skylar, thank you so much. Skylar, thank you again for signing up on the Patreon, and I'm excited to be able to connect with you further and be able to introduce you to more of the team as a leading member as well. So again, for those of you who are tuning into this, if you haven't already yet, be sure to check out more at paradigmshiftcentral.com, and through there you can actually find our team chat. And you're welcome to connect to the team chat. We use our Discord server, and if you go to Paradigm Shift Central, you can scroll down a bit and connect to our Discord chat. It says the team server there. And yeah, and you're welcome to connect with me there. And then when you sign up as a leading member, you'll also get like access to the full team chat. So the public team chat is available for anyone, and it's just a cool place to be able to like keep in touch throughout the day and share intentions and everything like that, and to collaborate on stuff as the project continues to evolve. And again, as leading members, you also get the benefits of being able to get more chat, the voice chat, and the ability to join for future live broadcasts on air that we do our synergy circles, and the option to be able to get the Lumerian Light Guardian crystals, and the very cool option of being able to publish your content through the main website, which allows more people to be able to hear your story and hear your voice. So Skylar, I'm excited to be able to talk with you a little bit more about, you know, what type of content you might be interested in sharing. Maybe it'll be something about the importance of journaling or something like that. You know, that topic is very important, as simple as it is. So very cool. Thank you again so much, everyone, for joining in. We'll just take a quick intermission here, and then we're going to get right into Paul's reading. Again, I want to be able to remind people that we are doing another broadcast for this at 10 a.m. tomorrow. That's Eastern Standard Time. So if you haven't already yet, please feel free to subscribe and like this video on YouTube. Paul, is this your first time in the broadcast? Like, I'm just asking you to the chat, and if it is, thank you so much for joining in. And again, what we're going to do, and Paul said, so much wisdom in that idea, one more breath before you do anything. Thanks, Paul. I'm glad you resonate with that. And Paul, yeah, remind me, Paul, if this is your first time tuning in, but I feel like I recognize, your name looks very familiar, and I apologize if I'm like accidentally, I meet a lot of awesome people. So thank you, Paul, for being one of them. And again, if you're tuning into this on Facebook, please feel free to share this broadcast with your friends. And again, allowing us to be able to create the value here as a community. So I'm just going to get a little bit of a tea sip going on here. We'll do a reading for Paul. So this is Paul's first time joining in. Thank you so much, Paul. I'm glad you're able to join in. And thanks for signing up for the Patreon right away. That's awesome. That definitely means a lot. So we'll get into this next reading for Paul in the next moment. I just need to take a little bit of a breath. Again, I appreciate you guys appreciating the energy that we put into this as a community. I'm sure you can, like, again, me talking and doing this is like channeling energy and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. I'm not complaining, but it is something where it's just kind of like you seeing and acknowledging that and honoring the energy that we're creating here, the transmutation of the value and the wisdom that's coming forth. I definitely appreciate your acknowledgement of what it is that we're creating here. So awesome. Thanks again, Leo, for tuning in on the Instagram. Leo, if you go to my Instagram story and swipe up, you can jump in on the YouTube chat as well. So, all right. So I'm just going to take a little bit of sip here from my Mystic Spider-Man mug. Awesome. Yeah, Paul. So Paul, you say I've been a huge supporter for a while now, especially Paradigm Shift Central. So yeah, Paul, you've been following my stuff for a while, Paul, right? Like, is that what? That's why I recognize your name. Yeah. On it. Awesome. Ronnie, hey, thanks for joining in. First time to the channel, she says. Shout out to Ronnie. Awesome to have more first time people here. Shout out to anybody tuning in on Twitch. The chat's a little quiet on Twitch, but you never know. We might get raided any second. That's the thing with these broadcasts. Like, you never, like, that's why I broadcast on multiple channels, because you just never know. Someone's gonna, like, happen to tune into it. All right. So again, I just want to remind people that this will be the last reading for tonight, unless we have one more person sign up for the Patreon. And I'll post a link for that into the chat. And again, the Patreon is a monthly micro donation for people to be able to help support artists. And shout out to our Patreon supporters so far tonight. Again, to Skylar and to Paul Richardson. And if anybody else tuning into this broadcast would be able to, like, not only help support what we are doing here, but also be able to help get a reading on air for themselves, go ahead and sign up for the Patreon. It only takes about 3 minutes to be able to sign up, and let us know in the comments if you're interested in signing up. And when you sign up, you can also get a super dope Light Guardian crystal, and maybe you just want like a cute little green one, or maybe maybe you want like a super chunky blue one. Or maybe you want a super nice Lumerian one. And again, all of them come with the multicolor light changing. So again, when you sign up for the Patreon, you can get a Light Guardian crystal. These are handmade as an additional pay what you wish. So it's a super awesome deal. So for anybody who wants to be able to get the Lumerian one, you can sign up at the $11. You can pay like $1 and get a Lumerian. Or you can, again, sign up at any amount and also get the regular Light Guardian crystals, which are regular quartz and still super awesome. And again, these are handmade with a lot of love. So if you have any questions on that, please feel free to let me know. We'll keep an eye open for another Patreon supporter. And if we do get one more Patreon supporter, that next reading that we do will be using our Lightworker Oracle deck. So that's like a very, very special deck. And so again, if anybody is really, really interested, be sure to check out the Patreon. And hey, even if you don't sign up today, be sure to bookmark it, check it out later. And you can also through there find all the inspiration. I've created like multiple full-length movies that you can enjoy. They're called Journey to Lucidity. You can look them up on YouTube. You can also check out, like, we've done like over like 600 broadcasts. And yeah, we've done like a lot of like inspirational free hug videos, conscious poetry, a lot of conscious movie reviews, humor videos. Really, really awesome stuff that we've created over the years. And again, that's something that I'm very passionate about doing, and your support on Patreon just allows us to keep doing this. And I'm actually, the video that I'm working on next, and we'll get right into Paul's reading in a second, is the video of the local global climate strike march that happened in London, Ontario, Canada. So this is a very, very important video. And again, this is like basically like I go out there and I do this journalism because I'm able to, thanks to the support of the community. So your support, simply by watching this video and sharing, but in addition, your support on the Patreon allows us to be able to create this very inspirational content that helps tell the story that we are living together. So very, very exciting stuff. So Paul, thank you again for your support on the Patreon. And we're going to get into this next reading here. And for anybody here, please feel free to just kind of relax, chill out. I'll keep an eye open for if we do get another Patreon supporter. And otherwise, this will be our last reading for tonight, which is totally cool with me. And again, we'll be back here at 10 a.m. So with that said, thank you so much, everyone, for kicking butt, for rocking it. And Skylar, if you're heading out, please feel free to let me know, and I'll send you the screenshot afterwards as well. And again, thank you so much to new people tuning in, to Ronnie, to Bianca. If you're tuned into this broadcast right now, if you're in any of the chats, just go ahead and drop a 222 in the chats. I just want to like see who's here so I can give you shout outs and keep an eye on the engagement with the chat. And it looks like we got a little bit of activity. Thank you so much to Electricia on Twitch. Hey, thanks for joining in. So again, we're going to do this next reading for Paul. So Paul, if you're ready for this reading, let me know, and we'll move into this next reading. So again, this broadcast, this reading, this is the intention to be able to help provide additional clarity, insight, and inspiration for us to be able to move forward on a journey of helping shift consciousness. And yeah, this is about being able to help support and inspire one another. So thank you again so much, everyone, for being here and for holding this space together. Awesome. Electrica, I'll post a link actually right for the direct YouTube link so that you can tune in. If you want to join in on YouTube, absolutely, please feel free. But it's literally on screen. You can see it up in the top. It says YouTube Skull Babylon. That's my YouTube. So I make it nice and easy. And you can also join me on Instagram. If anybody here isn't already, please join me on Instagram. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to our newsletter. And we're going to get right into this next reading for Paul and the rest of the team. So, all right. And yo, Oliver, hey, thanks for joining in, man. We're rolling into our next broadcast here. Into our next reading here on the broadcast. And again, we'll keep an eye open for another Patreon supporter. If we do get one more Patreon supporter, then we'll do a special reading from the Lightworker Oracle deck. Otherwise, this will be our last reading for tonight. And either way, I'm totally cool. Like, if we do get another Patreon supporter, that's a bonus. So we've definitely met our objective of 2 new signups during this broadcast. And yeah, thank you again so much for joining in, and sign up for the Patreon for $3, $10, $1 million, whatever you choose. And it's all greatly appreciated. And that will get you the reading either on air or privately, and allow us to do one more reading for the team tonight. So with that said, Paul, let's get right into your reading. Thank you again, everyone. Paul, I invite you to drop into that space, that heart space of gratitude, and to bring yourself into that intention of show me what I need to see, or even just kind of like show us what we need to see. So Oliver, I see you over there. Yeah, Oliver, donate $1 million. Go for it. All right. Well, the cards are getting excited here. They're jumping all over the place. All right. Okay, thanks again, everyone, for joining in. I appreciate you being here. 117 of our Patreon goal, working towards 150. Every drop counts. Let's do another reading here and provide more awesome value for the community. And if you're sharing this, if you're watching this on Facebook, please feel free to share this broadcast, because again, by sharing the broadcast, you're sharing the inspiration. So use this broadcast as a tool. All right, Paul, drop into that heart space. Allow yourself to be in that intention. Everybody here, just take a breath. Allow yourself to be in that intention of show me what I need to see. And then, Paul, you know how this works. When you're ready, type now into the chat. Give it an extra couple seconds as I create a little bit of flowetry here. And so, as we feel the hip and the hop of the cosmic vibe, we allow ourselves to open up these eyes, to see the truth that has always been, to see the wisdom that comes from within. As we allow ourselves to look back on the past, we reflect so that we can move oh so fast past those lessons into new stages of our growth, so that we can continue to evolve as sages and mystics and seers of these times oh so divine, as we allow ourselves to continue to shift the paradigms. You saw that one coming. So as Paul just types now into the chat, we will pull another card and see where the cosmos are at. Waiting for Paul's now to show up into the chat, and then we'll pull this card here. Everybody here, just cast forth that intention of show me what I need to see. Synchronicity pulling through live on air for all to be able to see. Now, says Paul. Paul's like, love the flowetry. Some people are just like, I come for the tarot reading, I stay for the poetry. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna charge this one up with the blue light guardian crystal. So the card that we have pulled here for Paul, our newest Patreon supporter for tonight's broadcast, is Spheres 6. So allow me real quick to just open this up and we'll read into it a little bit more. I like this. Honestly, it's cool because like I said, we do each card and each card kind of like complements the previous cards, and that's usually what happens. Like each broadcast like has like a collective message. It's very powerful when we do these. Like seriously, I get blown away just by doing these. Like I am equally as entertained doing these broadcasts as you watching this, and just to be able to like see the bigger story. It's exciting stuff, man. Like seriously. I hope you can. I can feel it. So, all right. So looking at this card here, and again, for those of you tuning in on Instagram, if you want to go to my Instagram story and swipe up, you can tune in on YouTube. So again, looking at this card here, what do we got? What do we got? Literally. So we've literally got. Oh look, it's a giant crystal, and I'm like holding a crystal. Actually, it looks more like this crystal. That's kind of funny. It's like literally the same thing. Look at that. That's cute. All right. So we've got this dope crystal, and it almost looks like it's underneath the ocean. It's kind of like at the bottom of the ocean, and you can see there's like spheres, but in this case they're like air bubbles, and you can see like the reflections off the crystal, some striations, the stars kind of shining up above the sky, and again kind of like this like what appears to kind of be underwater, but not necessarily. It's still kind of like tree like, and yeah, this appears to be like a giant crystal compared to what appear to be like trees next to it. And you can also see there's like hills and mountains in the back, and again these 4 spheres which look kind of like air bubbles, kind of like rising in an ascending order up to the sky. So all right, so here we go. So we're gonna read through the reading from the book, and then we're gonna go into a little bit more insight as we riff it here together. And we'll keep an eye open for a new Patreon sign up. Again, it only takes about 3 minutes to sign up for the Patreon, and you signing up allows us to continue to provide lots of awesome value for the community. So thank you again, everyone, for being here, for hanging out. I'll post a link for the Patreon one more time as we get into this. And again, if we do one more Patreon sign up during this broadcast, we'll do one more reading from the Lightworker Oracle deck based on the person's preference. So someone might be like, hey, I prefer the Ananda deck. So whatever works. All right. So let's get into this. So again, for everybody here, if you're here, this message is for you. 6 of spheres. The image. Within a crystal, which in its entire clarity rises above a fertile landscape, 6 transparent spheres rise heavenward as if carried by some unseen hand. Meaning, the time of harvest has arrived. That's it. I'm done. That's it. That's the reading right there. No, I'm just joking. But seriously, the fact that it's like the time of harvest has arrived and we're literally on the equinox and we've literally been talking about the harvest. Like, does anybody else just find this like hilarious? Like, the universe is so funny when it does stuff like this. Like, I don't know. That's probably the only card in here that literally says the time of harvest has arrived. Like, in the first sentence. And we're on the equinox, and we put out the intention for the universe to be able to come through and give us a mess. Anyways, okay, I gotta keep going here. This is what we signed up for. This is hilarious. Meaning, the time of harvest has arrived. Cosmic intelligence, which expresses itself in nature, knows no deficit nor defect. Everything is richly at hand. Like a generous father, the cosmos has everything ready that is necessary for life, and more. It guarantees the further development of its creation, which does not represent a finished product, but is a constantly advancing process of which every single living thing is a part. I'm going to reread that. It guarantees the further development of its creation, which does not represent a finished product, but is a constantly advancing process of which every single living thing is a part. Through the adaptation to the conditions at hand, the continuation of the various forms is of the various life forms is secured, and so each creature is guaranteed its space. If we act in the highest good of all concerned and are tolerant and generous with everyone, this will have a certain resonance and will influence our ideas, wishes, and intents in a positive manner. I'm gonna reread that. That's very powerful. Awesome. Paul, I see your comments. Yeah, I got some huge sinks tonight. Seriously. Everything but the kitchen sink. Heyo. All right. If we act in the highest good of all concerned and are tolerant and generous with everyone, this will have a certain resonance and will influence our ideas, wishes, and intents in a positive manner. Therefore, man becomes richer the more he gives of himself. Through selfless service, man makes his being more noble. I'm gonna reread that. This is like a super powerful card, right? Therefore, man becomes richer the more he gives of himself. Through selfless service, man makes his being more noble. Seen purely chemically, a diamond is no different than a piece of coal, yet there is a great difference between the two. Likewise, the experience of happiness is independent of the material situation at hand. The happy circumstances that apparently occur effortlessly reveal themselves as an expression of inner carefreeness, which should not be mistaken for laziness, however. Astrological significance: Venus, Jupiter, Neptune, sextile, and trine aspects. Keywords: deep insight into the powers of nature, material gain, natural balance, abundance, peak experiences, refinement, fullness, independence, unfolding, lightness of being. Traditional meaning: increase of material possessions, expansion, generosity, goodwill, stroke of luck, successful undertaking, effortlessness. Wow. Okay, so this card, again, if this is our last reading for tonight, I think this is perfect. And I do feel that this card is, again, a continuation of the conversation that we've been having here tonight. So again, just as a quick recap for those of you who may just be tuning in, we had the Queen of Spheres, which is all about kind of like connecting with the motherly wisdom and the motherly nature and giving ourselves permission to kind of calm down and relax. Then we had the Four of Swords, which is all about being able to like come into the present moment of the now to be able to reflect on the lessons as we move into the next chapters. And then this card is a kind of about like, once we've implemented the things that we previously talked about, then we can really focus on like being able to give, being able to show up in generosity, and being able to show up in service as we continue to rise into our purpose, as we continue to evolve as a crystalline being, which I think is, again, literally recognized here as this giant freaking crystal, which is basically, again, a metaphor for us. So, and Paul's already saying it couldn't have been a more perfect card to pull. I resonate this so much with this card. Perfect, Paul. Again, I blown away by the magic of these broadcasts. I'm just super grateful to be able to do this together as a team. So again, this card, from my own interpretation of it, I think, again, is a very powerful card, Paul, for you to be able to receive, for everybody listening to this, for you to be able to reflect on how much we are able to understand more of who we are when we give, when we show up, when we allow ourselves to be in places of service. Because like that, I know for myself, that's a very, very important thing. Like if I wasn't doing these broadcasts, if I wasn't organizing community events, there would be a part of myself that I would never meet, or there would be a part of myself that I would be a stranger to. And maybe that's something that we need to be able to reflect on. What parts within ourselves are we perhaps almost like strangers to? Like, are you a stranger to the part of yourself that gives more so than you get, that intentionally goes out of your way to be able to like help assist others in a very charitable fashion, in an altruistic fashion? And so this card is really being able to like invite us to be able to reflect on how we can show up in the highest good for all, knowing that in doing so we are being able to serve ourselves, but also being able to like create a very powerful vibration that's going to serve as a portal to be able to help assist others in awakening further along their journey. If we act in the highest good of all concerned and are tolerant and generous with everyone, this will have a certain resonance and will influence our ideas, wishes, and intents in a positive manner. So again, in terms of the visualization of this being very much a crystal, you can think about the crystal as having a resonance, the crystal as having a frequency. And so that frequency is something that is stabilized. That frequency is something that can emit itself out into the field around us. And therefore, man becomes richer the more he gives of himself. So, Paul, I see this as a very powerful way to be able to acknowledge that you have a lot to give. We all do. You have a lot to give. And as you, like talking about previously from the other cards, as we continue to allow ourselves to like nurture ourselves, to give ourselves what we need, to fill ourselves in, to fill our own cup, the next question is, what are we doing with that overflow? How are we directing that overflow into ways where is being able to like assist others, being able to direct it towards like ways that are going to be able to help nurture the roots of others, like literally like water to roots, water to earth. And so again, through selfless service, man makes himself more noble. And so like this is a very powerful idea, because I definitely see this as like, you know, again, like what does it mean to be noble? What does it mean to be in service? What does it mean to be in purpose? And this is like a very powerful archetype that I definitely resonate with, because again, when I think of nobility, I kind of think about like knights of the round table, which is a very powerful archetype that I personally resonate with. And I invite other people to kind of like feel that knight within themselves. And that knight is the part of you that is like here for a higher purpose, that is here for a higher calling, that is here to be in service to others, that is here to be able to assist, knowing that in doing so, it's like the bodhisattva, where like you assisting others is you assisting yourself. You're here to be able to collectively shift the entire consciousness and to be able to create space and circumstances and stories that invite people into more of their own awakening process. Just reading a little bit of Paul's comments here, and I'll keep going a little bit further. Paul says, absolutely, I don't come from a wealthy background, but I've always felt that my presence is my gift. My hands, my love, my attention is what I have to give. And as I give, it gives me great pleasure. That's beautiful. That's beautiful to hear, Paul. And absolutely, the fact that you've like allowed that to be a part of your story is, again, definitely just affirmation to acknowledge and to like thank you on behalf of the universe for sharing those parts of yourself, while also making sure that your needs are taken care of too. And so I think like with this card, it's also important to keep in mind that, again, like our ability to be able to increase our global impact is accelerated by our ability to make sure that we take care of ourselves. So with this card, there comes a bit of a warning where basically it's implying that don't give so much of yourself to the point where you exhaust yourself. Play the long game, play the long term, play the sustainable path, play the path that's going to help you increase your impact. Instead of just giving and giving and giving, you have to make sure that you're equally giving to yourself in a way that is balanced, in a way that just allows you to continue to show up more. So Paul, maybe there's something here, and it allows you to just kind of reflect on, just be able to make sure, just be like, okay, I want to be able to give to people. Are there parts within my own path where maybe I'm not giving as much to myself as I actually need in order to be able to reach those higher potentials? And that's something where you have to kind of like really be honest with yourself, but also in a gentle way, and to acknowledge that like you're still doing a freaking awesome job. And to just be able to invite yourself to be able to be like, how is actually me caring for myself an act of me being able to care for other people by allowing me to continue to show up? Because again, you don't want to be like pouring from your cup. You don't want to pour from your cup. You want the overflow to be able to be what fills other people's cups. Because if you just pour from your cup, you pour it once, you pour it twice, you pour it 3 times, and suddenly it's empty. And then you got to kind of like go off and like take care of yourself, or maybe someone else has to pour into your cup and you kind of have to ask for help. That's okay. That can happen. But does that need to happen? Not all the time. The regenerative model is when you're, again, kind of creating this like infinite fountain where you're nourished, you're sustained, you're taken care of. And then that just allows you to continue to show up in more impact. Awesome. So Paul, just reading there, it says, yeah, it's always been my biggest struggle to learn to give the love that I give others back to myself. And lately I've been turning that love inward and listening to my inner mother energy. Beautiful, Paul. That's exactly what I would hope to hear as well. And again, I think this card is, again, just kind of reaffirming the work that you're doing and for everybody here, the work that we are all doing, and just acknowledging that, like, yes, like, do it, good, keep taking care of yourself, take that one more breath. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, that's such a powerful thing to be able to do that, and that is an act of self-love. And again, kind of going back to what we were talking about, society has conditioned us into this paradigm where we think it's wrong to take time for ourselves. But when we take time for ourselves as actually being a selfless act, it changes the story. And that's very, very powerful. So again, the key words in this: deep insight into the powers of nature. So the powers of nature are, again, the idea to be able to create a resonance that affects the vibration of other people, to be able to bring ourselves into a place of leadership, to be able to create the stage, to create space, to create ambiance. Paul, one thing that I'll say that I'm sure you probably resonate with, because this is something that I really resonate with, is really being able to value being able to create atmosphere and setting and ambiance and mood, and being able to create space where it allows people to just kind of like relax out of their body and get more into their heart. And so, Paul, I would definitely kind of remind yourself that in the work that you do, really keep playing with the setting, keep playing with the space, add in, like, work with music, work with even like scents and lights and setting. Really allow that to be an extension of your own skill. So it's not just like, hey, I'm just doing hands-on Reiki or anything like that, but I'm creating an environment. I'm creating an environment that gives your body permission to relax. And that's like such an important thing. Like, we literally need to give other people the permission to relax in the same way we need to give ourselves permission to relax. So again, material gain, natural balance, abundance, peak experiences, refinement, fullness, independence, unfolding, lightness of being, traditional meaning, increase of material possession, expansion, generosity, goodwill, stroke of luck, successful undertaking, effortlessness. And again, and I think the idea with this is also to be able to understand that, wealth is not something that is just earned through material, but it's earned through, it's developed through connections, it's developed through relationships. And I think, Paul, like, and I know you're already doing this, but just to be able to like take a moment to be able to really reflect on the wealth that you have through the relationships that you're building and continuing to build, and also being able to acknowledge the wealth that other people find in the relationship that they're building with you. For someone to be able to be like, wow, Paul, like, seeing you is something really valuable to me, and maybe this is something where like if they could put like a financial value on it, that actually like maybe something where like you need to be able to reflect on yourself of like being able to really own your value, being able to really own your worth. And I think like this was a huge shift for a lot of people who are entrepreneurs who provide their service. Because again, people who kind of like do the spiritual work, hey James, what's going on? Good to see you, brother. The people who do the spiritual work, sometimes we have trouble in being able to ask for money, and we have trouble in being able to like ask for donations and stuff like that. But Paul, I say this to you because this is just going to help you become an even stronger diamond, an even stronger crystal, is to really invite yourself and give yourself permission to acknowledge your value, and then to be able to create like conditions for people to be able to honor that value through invitation, such as sliding scales. So maybe if you're providing yourself through like services, through like, like energy work or things like that, create a sliding scale where it's like a sliding scale, pay what you wish, between like 10 and $50, maybe even 10 and $100, right? Because it's all going to be relative. And then when you show up that way, there's going to be some people that are going to be like, hey, I really appreciate you making this open and affordable. Here's $10. And then there are going to be other people that are going to be like, hey, thanks for helping keep this affordable for other people and accessible. Here's $100. And the universe will allow itself to return itself to you in ways that you might not always expect, but you need to create the conditions in order for the universe to be able to give you that value back. So let me know if that makes sense, because Paul, I think that's something that if you haven't already thought about that, I would definitely invite you to be able to just like incorporate into your practice of being able to like not ask for donations from a place of like asking for help, but also being able to invite people to contribute, because people want to be able to support. This is a big shift. This is a big shift for all us givers and servers out there. The slight vibrational change between asking for people to give you money or asking for donations and inviting people to donate, inviting people to be able to contribute to through like just like the fact that they acknowledge the value in you too. Because you are valuable. What you're providing is something that, again, is kind of like beyond like a monetary amount, but you need to acknowledge your own value. You need to acknowledge your own skills. You need to acknowledge that your time is value and that you deserve to be able to like receive what you need to allow you to continue to increase your global impact. And absolutely, it's not about the money. It's about increasing impact. It's about being able to help assist people. So once you really get clear on that and really allow yourself to maybe do a little bit of a shift there, I think that can open up some very, very powerful things to be able to receive in some very, very powerful ways. And some of it will be monetary, some of it will just be relationships, but hey, that opens up new doors and new networks and things like that. Paul says 100%, my goal is to create a space where people can feel and be themselves, feel free to be themselves. And also, that was from before, following up after I made the comments about like the sliding scale donations and stuff. Says thank you so much. You have much wisdom, and yes, it makes so much sense. Awareness of self-value and the difference between asking for donation and inviting to contribute. Absolutely, Paul. I'm really glad you resonate with that, and I hope that other people listening to this will also be able to take something from that as well. Because again, you know, like when we own our value, when we really like own our vibration, you know, and things like that, like that creates a signal that sends itself out to the universe that will attract people who also meet that vibration. So again, this is what happens oftentimes with energy workers and things like that. They're just like, oh, like I offer my services for free, or maybe I only charge $5. I offer them for free and I charge $5 and things like that. And when you do that, if that's the case, then you're literally saying to the universe, oh, I'm actually like only interested in attracting people who can only afford to pay $5 or pay for free. And again, I understand the intentions of that. They're very noble, but ultimately they're not as wise as they could be, because the wiser choice is being able to be like, what do I need to do in order to be able to serve more people by attracting those who can support, by honoring my value, and then I can serve the people who I normally serve while also continuing to be able to help serve more people. But it comes from you acknowledging your value first and foremost, and you setting that vibration. And then when you do that, the people who resonate with it will show up. They literally will show up. So again, I'm sure you're well aware of how law of attraction works and things like that, law of resonance, law of correspondence, and all of that. And it literally begins with you owning your vibration first and foremost. And that can be applied to a lot of people in all sorts of things. But really, owning our vibration is such an important thing. There's a comment here from Skylar I actually just wanted to read. And hey, Scarlett, thanks for joining in. One of our Patreon supporters from earlier today. Welcome back. It's great to see people tuning in for 2 broadcasts in one day. That's crazy. And then stick around. We'll do another broadcast in 10 hours from now. I'm crazy. But we do it for a good love. All right. Skylar says, okay. Skylar says, this is probably, and Paul, let me know in the comments how else this resonates with you, and we'll go a little bit further into this. Skylar says, this is probably going to not come out right, but I'm going to try and put my words into thought. The reference it made to diamonds. Coal has value as coal, but after the pressurization and the time of molding it, it becomes a diamond, which is still coal, but in its form that gives itself the highest value and contribution to the world. Like us, we have something to give in our coal stage, but it is not as effective. But through our lessons, life, hurt, we evolve into a version of ourselves that is full of wisdom, experience, and love. We are better able to give that to other people because we know what it took to get to that place. That makes sense. That makes sense, Skylar. Absolutely. Again, I really think it is like an important part for us to be able to acknowledge our journey from coal to diamond, and understanding that, like, even though we may feel very diamond-like, we're still refining ourselves. We're becoming even more diamond. We literally are becoming these like crystalline beings in a literal sense, but also very much in a metaphorical sense as well. So absolutely, I definitely see this as, again, being able to, like, the diamond is like the part of us that's really done the work to reflect, to grow, to become the best version of ourselves, and then to continue to allow ourselves to show up in service for others in the best way possible. Thank you again. Hey, Maddie, thanks so much for joining in, for those of you on Instagram. So again, increase in material possessions, expansion, generosity, goodwill, stroke of luck, successful undertaking, effortlessness. Yeah, I like the idea of stroke of luck, because that usually is something that can happen where it's like there's like a karmic thing that kind of goes on here. When you're focused on giving, you're giving and you're giving, but you're also creating conditions for people to be able to bring it back to you as well. Eventually, like, you might find that one person, and then it's just like, I really love what you're doing, and I love your generosity, and I love what your heart's at. How can I support you even more? You know, like, they will ask that question. Give them the circumstance where they can ask that question, and for you to just be able to be like, sweet, you know, like, actually, yeah, there's some things I could use some help with. Like, maybe there's like a sponsorship, or maybe there's like a space that they might be able to help like co-rent or something like that. And so that's the thing, when you give the generosity, things can really, really open up, but you really have to make sure that your heart's in the right place. And it's okay. Like, that's the thing. It's okay to orchestrate your objectives towards being able to earn more income, because it's not about the money, it's about more impact. And when you allow yourself to develop that healthy relationship with money, that's just going to allow you to be able to continue to share it even more potently with the rest of your community by transmuting it into more resources and more skill and more promotion and more outreach and things of that nature. So it just exponentially grows at that point. So Paul says, 100% agree. No matter where you are in your journey, you have value, and there's always somewhere to go. And while we aren't in that moment, we still have something to contribute. Absolutely, Paul. That was Paul saying that definitely in reference to what Skylar already said. For those of you looking for a reading, real quick, again, we do have the possible option of doing one more reading tonight if we get one more Patreon supporter signed up. And you can sign up for that to my Patreon. I'll post the link one more time into the chat. And again, that's with a monthly micro donation. And you can also get lots of other cool perks. But we'll just finish up this card reading here, and then we'll take a little bit of an intermission. So again, therefore, man becomes richer the more he gives of himself. Through selfless service, man makes his being more noble. Seen purely chemically, a diamond is no different than a piece of coal, yet there is a great difference between the two. Likewise, the experience of happiness is independent from the material situation at hand. The happy circumstances that apparently occur effortlessly reveal themselves as an expression of inner carefreeness, which should not be mistaken for laziness, however. So that part, just on the end there, that's really important. So again, Paul, and for everybody here, really inviting you to be able to reflect on the value of being carefree without being careless. Awesome. Erica, thanks for joining in. Dream well, and appreciate your support once again. So again, just reiterating that. The idea of cultivating a carefreeness without being careless. How does that feel? What does that look like within your beings, Paul? And also, again, the idea that understanding, it says here, the happy circumstances that apparently occur effortlessly reveal themselves as an expression of inner carefreeness. Meaning that, again, it says, likewise, the experience of happiness is independent from the material situation. So again, it's like, whether you're happy or not, that's actually not always a cause of the situation. That's like, whether you're happy is going to be based on like how you cultivate that happiness within yourself and how you are able to choose how you see any given moment. So again, like, you know, like it'd be like, oh no, I got fired from my job. You can choose to be sad, but at the same part, you can also be like, actually, I'm pretty excited about what's coming next. You know, oh sweet, this is going to open up more time for me to pursue my creative endeavors and to be able to take that leap and to really be able to like express like, you know, like more of my bravery as I like venture into new realms. But then the universe is like, yes, we love your courage and we want to be able to help support that. So again, just being able to understand that your happiness does not, making sure that your happiness doesn't depend on external circumstances, but also again, making sure that you're balanced and making sure that you're taking care of your needs. So there's a lot of responsibility when it comes to being human. Again, making sure that we're not like attached to things, but making sure that we're taking care of ourselves and making sure that we're showing up in generosity, but making sure that we're setting value for ourselves. And then in turn, it creates this ecosystem, a regenerative, supportive ecosystem that supports us in what we're doing. So Paul, I really invite you to be able to like start envisioning, start feeling that future of knowing that you can do what you want to be able to do while still being like honored with value and being able to receive that value, and really even begin focusing on like how you can begin creating regenerative monthly income as well. For any person as like a creator and stuff, the regenerative monthly income is powerful. So maybe for you, maybe that means like signing up with people and signing them on to like a monthly package or something like that, you know, something that kind of creates an ongoing relationship. And again, Paul, for you, I would just kind of like wrap this up by again saying that your generosity is amplified even more by the personal relationships that you build with the people. So understanding that like, as you continue to like invite someone in and you provide those services, your story with them is something that continues ongoing by making sure that you're like checking in, building relationship, and just being able to invite them back into that space in a way that's like very just like natural as well. So if we act in the highest good of all concerned and are tolerant and generous with everyone, This will have a certain resonance and will influence our ideas, wishes, and intents in a positive manner. So Paul, absolutely, Paul saying the silver linings on things. So very, very powerful card for us to be able to receive here. And again, for anybody here, please feel free, drop an 1111 in the comments. Let me know how this resonated with you as well. And yeah, I definitely see this card as a very powerful card to just be able to acknowledge the work that you have been doing, Paul, to be able to turn yourself into this beautiful crystal. And for you to be able to like be that crystal, that's just going to allow more people to see that crystal within themselves and to be able to assist them on their journey from coal to crystal in that sense. And for you to be able to set the resonance and for you to be able to like create the situations where you can give and receive in a way that's regenerative, in a way that's sustainable. So yeah, you know, like spiritual commerce, you know, that's a very powerful thing. So, and we can do it. We are meant to do it. We are here to be able to like do what we are here to do and be supported in doing that. We have the permission from the universe. The universe wants us to be able to do that. So we just have to be open to make sure that we're like removing any blockages and make sure that we're like getting resources and asking questions and getting support from people such as myself or any other person, and being able to like see more of the picture as well. Thank you so much, Brendan. You are awesome for bringing this whole thing together and providing this message to come through. I've learned so much in such a little time with you. Paul, thank you so much. Super, super honored to be able to have you here as well, and super grateful just for everybody else for being a part of this broadcast and for holding space. So there it is. Six of Spheres, very powerful card for us to be able to end the night on, assuming unless we get one more Patreon supporter during the broadcast. And Paul, send me a message, Paul, on either Facebook or Instagram. Paul, do you have me on Facebook or Instagram? Let me know. And I think you have me on Instagram. And send me a message and I can send you a screenshot afterwards of this reading so that you can read it for yourself on your own time as well. So thank you again, everyone, so much for being a part of this broadcast. Just going to kind of like chill out here for a little bit. If you're tuned into the broadcast, just go ahead and drop a 222 in the comments. Let me know that you're tuned in. We still got, it looks like we got about 7 people on Facebook. And how many people do we got? And we got about 7 people on YouTube. So again, if anybody here, what we will do here, I still have enough energy to do one more reading, and that's my limit for tonight. Perfect, Paul. Make sure you send me a direct message on Instagram, and I'll send you the screenshots of this. And for anybody else who wants the screenshot of any of the readings tonight, you can message me too. That's totally cool. So again, for anybody here, if you're here, drop a 222 in the comments. Like, I don't know, maybe some people just like leave this on in the background while they're like cooking dishes, cleaning dishes, cooking food, using dishes. So again, what we will do, we've done 3 readings for tonight. We'll be back on air tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure that you're subscribed to my channel. If you're watching this on Facebook, make sure you subscribe on YouTube so that you can get the notifications. Otherwise, Facebook will not notify you necessarily all the time. And again, there is the option for us to do one more reading tonight, and that will be for the next person who signs up for the Patreon. And again, the Patreon is a monthly micro donation to be able to help support the work that I do for the community as a director for Paradigm Shift Central, and that is a community project of being able to help support conscious media creators and leaders. And if we do get one more Patreon sign up within the next like 10 minutes, we're just going to hang out here for a little bit, then we can do one special reading tonight from the Lightworker Oracle deck. So Allison is in the gym on the treadmill. That is so cool. Allison, I'm glad you're listening to us while exercising at the same time. Bonus points to you. Thank you again. Skylar, thanks so much for tuning in. I'm enjoying having your company here. I really am. And I say that to everyone, sincerely. So again, if we get one more Patreon sign up for tonight, then we will do our reading from the Lightworker Oracle deck. Even if I'll leave this option, if either of the 2 people signed up tonight want to even increase their Patreon pledge for the purpose of us doing one more reading for the team, that's an option too. Again, whatever works for you guys is cool. So if anybody's already signed up for the Patreon and you're just like, yeah, I want to increase my pledge, you know, you can increase your pledge right now. It only takes like a minute if you're already signed up, and we can count that as a new sign up. So whatever works for anybody here. Again, this is our broadcast as a team. And cool. Scarlett says she looked up the deck. Did you look up this deck, Scarlett? The Lightworker Oracle? She says she looked up the deck because Scarlett was our Patreon supporter this morning, and we did a reading from this, which was very powerful. I enjoy doing the readings from here. It's very different from the Ananda deck. So again, let me know in the comments if anybody here is interested in signing up for the Patreon in the next few minutes. And I'm just going to kind of take a little bit of a breath here because, again, this takes a lot of energy for me to be able to do this, and I can't stay up too late. But again, I'll literally have to go to bed, so we'll be doing another reading at 10 a.m. this morning. And again, for those of you signing up, the Patreon donations don't process until October 1st, and as the month comes to an end, that is part of the reason why we're doing more of these broadcasts, to be able to get as many Patreon signups as we can before the end of the month. So if we can get 118 Patreon signups by the end of this broadcast, that's a super awesome bonus, and we'll do one more reading for the team. Otherwise, that's totally cool, and we'll call it a night. And we'll be back here at 10 a.m. And again, when you sign up for the Patreon, you can also get a super dope Light Guardian crystal. And again, these are tools, toys, and talismans. You can use them on the dance floor, take them to raves, be like, that's my rave music. Cats and boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats and boots. But you can wear these Light Guardian crystals, and seriously, you wear those and people will be like, holy shit, what is this magical thing that you have on your neck? How do I get one? I really want one. And another thing, for any of the Patreon supporters, once you guys if you guys are, you can already do this. If you get other people signed up for the Patreon, you can earn affiliate points that you can use to be able to get items from the Quest item shop. And for anybody else here who's just interested in any of the Light Guardian crystals, you can check them out at questitemshop.com. I'll post a link for that in the chat. And when you sign up on the Patreon, you also get a lifetime 25% or more discount for items at thequestitemshop.com. And that's where you can also get the shift buttons. So here, I'll show you a couple of shift buttons. So again, we're keeping an eye on the Patreon for a new sign up. And hey Skills, thanks so much for tuning in on Twitch as well. We are doing tarot readings, so this is like being able to channel cosmic wisdom from the universe. So again, what we are doing right now, we're seeing in the next 5 or 10 minutes if there's a new sign up for the Patreon. Otherwise, we'll be wrapping up the broadcast. I know some people are like, no, I'm not, I still have 30 minutes to go on the treadmill, don't end the broadcast yet. Allison is saying, I'm so happy I had a successful meetup Saturday with my autistic kids doing music and movement. Cats and boots, woo. Awesome. Allison, that's so great. I'm so happy to be able to hear that. That's wonderful. So again, these are some of the shift buttons that you can get. When you sign up for the Patreon, you get 25% discount for items at the shop. Some of them include the shift buttons, but if you get a sign up and you get the Light Guardian crystal, I'll also include some of these just because they're awesome. Here's one. It says, ask me about Sasquatch. So if you saw someone wearing this button, what would you do? Like, what would you do? Would you just like go there and just like start like would you walk up to that person and just be like, yes, I want to be able to like ask you about Sasquatch. And I'll just show a couple more here real quick. Here's another one. Ask me about UFOs and aliens. So, but they're not all that. We also got like Eye of Ra. We got wolves. We got trees. We got wolves. We got here. This one's really cool. This is art by Louis Dyer. This is very cool. Awesome. So in other awesome news, special thank you to Skylar. Skylar actually just updated their pledge within the Patreon. So that means that we get to do one more reading tonight, and then we will wrap it up unless there's like some other person who donates. But I kind of want to go to sleep, so I don't even know if I want to like ask for that. If you do sign up, you can always get a private reading too. So Skylar, thank you so much for updating your monthly donation. Super appreciated. So updating on top of the 11. Thank you so much, Skylar. So with that said, we will do one more reading, and we're going to do it from the Lightworker Oracle deck. And let's do a reading again for someone in the chat. So Skylar, I just want to confirm with you, are you okay if we choose someone from the chat for us to be able to do this reading for? Again, to be able to help, you've seen how we do it, to be able to help kind of like anchor it in. And again, also doing a reading for the whole team. So yeah, let's give a nice thank you to Skylar for keeping us up even later. Seriously though, this will be the last reading unless we get one more sign up on the Patreon, because otherwise, like, what are you guys gonna keep me up all night, and then I'll literally just be here until 10 a.m. and then it's just like, oh man. So don't worry, there's plenty more me to go around, but like the theme of this broadcast, I need to get my rest too. So I'm looking forward to being able to hit the hay after this, but hey, I got enough energy to go around. Allison's like, thank you, Skylar, for giving me more wisdom to be able to ingest while I run on the treadmill. Seriously, this would be actually like fun stuff to listen to on the treadmill. I can imagine like being on the treadmill and just being like, sweet, I get to exercise like my body and my spirit. So, all right, so Allison says no sleep for you. No. Seriously, if you guys just keep signing up for the Patreon, I'll do it. It's for the greater good. I'm willing to make those sacrifices. Again, dude, could we hit 150 by the end of the month? Like, how many broadcasts would I have to do in order to be able to do that? I would do it for the greater good, because again, once we like have those like higher goals with our Patreon, that's just going to allow me to do even more epic stuff for the community. I got some dope visions, and again, they're already like implemented and underway. The foundations are there, and again, the support on the Patreon just allows me to continue to do even more of it. So thank you again, everyone, so much. Oh, Allison's on the tricep machine now. Thanks for keeping us updated, Allison. All right, so again, we're going to do this reading. So for anybody here in the chat, if you would like to be the person who we do this reading for, drop a 333 in the comments. And even in this moment right now, I just invite everybody to check their posture, because I was noticing it myself. I was getting tired and it was like slouching, right? Check your posture, straighten up your spine, open up your chest. Ooh, give yourself a little bit of a massage. Actually, where am I? Oh, here's one of my crystal massage wands. I'm just gonna massage myself with this. Oh, feels so good. These are like little crystal massage wands I make with polymer clay. I don't really sell these anymore. I only have like so many left. But if anybody really wants one, please feel free to let me know. I could always include it into a package that you order. But these are like meant for like deep tissue massage, so like massaging our fascia. These are super good for like the pulmonary spots. So again, okay, we're gonna do one more reading for the team, but I want to be able to do it with the help of someone facilitating it. Maybe someone who's new. So if you're here and you want to be able to be the person who we do the reading for, then drop a 333 into the chat and stay tuned for the additional instructions. So I said that before, but I didn't see any 333s. So and again, that's because it's later in the broadcast, right? People are going to sleep. People are like I'm sorry, Brendan, I can't stay up till 2 a.m. watching tarot readings. I have to go to bed. But meanwhile, there's people on the West Coast who are like working out right now. So. Oh man. Okay, so let's see. Again, Scarlett, I see your comment. If we don't get someone specifically who's just like, hey, like I want to be able to help facilitate the reading, yeah, then we can just literally just do it for the masses. That's okay. Yeah, like Paul, like we just did a reading for you, so I want to see if there's someone here who we can kind of like do a reading with who we haven't like done a reading for total. Oh no. Skylar saying we're gonna have you looking like SpongeBob without water by the time this is over. No sleep. Honestly, do you know what my secret is for being able to do these broadcasts and to like keep doing them? Do you know what it is? Sexual kung fu. Energy cultivation. That's like a very, very big part of my practice of being able to just like cultivate sexual energy. I usually go for like on average, like months, you know, like at least like a month at a time. And that's like normal for me. So, but again, that allows me to like show up with energy and stuff like that. So I can keep doing awesome broadcasts. So there, now you know my secret, but I say that secret so you can practice it too. All right. So, okay. So again, I think we got a couple people here. If you haven't had a reading with us in the last like week and you would like to be able to get this reading done for you, drop a 333 into the comments right now, and then we'll be able to know, and then stand by for the next instructions, and I'm going to give you a number, and then you're going to drop that in, and then we're going to choose someone from the chat. So Marley, I see you here. Nita, I see you here. And so far, that's the only people. Hey, Sushi, welcome back. Thanks for joining in. Yeah, like sexual kung fu would be like, I guess you can kind of think of that as tantra. It's more like just like energy cultivation. But Tantra, like sexual kung fu is a part of Tantra, but Tantra isn't necessarily directly like sexual energy cultivation, but it is interrelated. Absolutely. So, all right. Otherwise, if we just you guys are just gonna listen to me talk about like energy cultivation all night and stuff like that. So gotta be mindful of that cup. Don't just spill it all over the place. My impersonation of humans walking around, they're just like, yes, I'm so sophisticated. Oh, my essence. Oh, I spilt it. Oh, and then they just like scoop up some more juice or something like that, and then they spill it again. And I don't know. I don't think that metaphor sounded better in my head. All right. Okay, so we have Nita and we have Marley. We literally only have 2 people who are looking for a reading right off the spot right now. Anybody else who would like to be able to have this reading on the spot? And a reminder, if anybody else wants to sign up for the Patreon, then we can literally do this reading for you as well, because this reading was kind of like donated from Skylar. So Marley or anybody here, if anybody else here wants to literally sign up for the Patreon in the next minute, let me know, because we can do the reading for you, and that would be a bonus. But I'm totally cool just doing it for the masses. And so I'll just post a link into the chat just as a bonus. We've definitely like already reached our goal for tonight, but if anybody wants to like totally just be like, hey, like absolutely I want this reading, then be like, hey, I'm gonna sign up for the Patreon like right now. But otherwise I'm gonna pull a card in about 1 minute, and this will be for it's hard to, when there's only 2 people. I don't want it to just like, it's hard to do like the randomized thing. So we need a few more people. We need at least like 4 people. So again, if you're looking for a reading here, make sure you drop a 333 in the chat. And I think we've got Marley, we've got Nita, Natalia, maybe you want to put yourself in for the reading as well. Benjamin, if you want to put yourself in the reading as well, drop a 333. Share this broadcast if you haven't yet, and we'll pull this card in 1 second. Again, sometimes it just takes a little bit because there's a little bit of lag. And again, I just want to be able to like make sure that we're doing this in the best way we can. Yeah, Allison. Okay. All right, we'll move through with this, and we'll do this as best as I can. So for anybody here who would like to be able to be the person that we do this next reading for, we got enough people here. That's perfect. Again, what we're going to do here, I'm going to tell you a number. And if you haven't shared the broadcast, please share it. And make sure that you're like subscribed to my other channels and all that good stuff. I'm going to tell you a number, and then what you're going to do is you're going to be the 4th person to enter this number into the chat. And so I encourage you to even kind of like close your eyes after I tell you this, and then enter the number into the chat. And this is across multiple platforms, so you won't even see it all just in your chat. This is on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. And the 4th person to enter this number into the chat will be the person that we do this reading for. So again, this is like a bonus reading thanks to Skylar, one of our Patreon supporters for tonight. And if we do get 1 more Patreon supporter, even while we're doing this reading, hey, I can do 1 more. I can do 1 more after this. That's totally possible. All right, so we got everyone ready. People have shared the broadcast. Hey, Melissa, you're just in time. Melissa, pay attention to these instructions if you want to be eligible for this reading as well. And okay, so this is what we're going to do. So again, I'm going to give you a number, and you're going to enter this number. Be the 4th person to enter this number into the chat, and we'll be the person who we choose for you to do this bonus reading for using our Lightworker Oracle decks. This is like our special bonus reading for tonight. The number that I'm going to give you, don't enter it right away, be the 4th person to enter this, is 555. So hold up a second, take a breath. Everybody here, just take a breath, type 555, hold off on hitting enter, wait for it. And then when you intuitively feel ready, hit enter. And then the 4th person who enters that into the chat, and I'll be watching across multiple chats, will be the person who we do this reading for the what may be the last reading for tonight. So keeping an eye on here. Again, there's just like a little bit of a delay, so I'll start seeing those 555s show up in a second. And thank you again to everyone for hanging out, for being here. and for rocking it and for allowing us to cultivate this inspiration. And again, if it's your first time here, go ahead and tune in tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Oh God, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So here come the 555s. Keeping an eye open for them. Again, we're on multiple platforms here, so if you're just looking in one platform, you're not even seeing all of it. And I'll tell you once it's all there. And don't enter it more than once. I didn't say that already. That happened last time. People were just like spamming it. I'm like, that's not how you do it. So, all right. Okay, there it is. Okay, so what we got here is the reading is going to be for Nita. So this is a reading that we're going to do for Nita, and Nita is in our YouTube chat. So thank you so much. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Marley. Thank you, Mel Issa, as well. We got Melissa and we got Mel Issa. And thank you, Benjamin, and thank you, Susan, for joining in. And again, if you guys are here, know that this reading is for you. So Nita, I think this is probably your first time here, so thank you so much for joining in. And so what we'll do, I'll instruct you through this next part. And again, for anybody here who would like to be able to like jump the line and be able to get one more reading on air, like we can do one more reading, like it's not impossible. Then go ahead and sign up for the Patreon, and that only takes about 3 minutes to sign up, and that's with a monthly micro donation. And when you sign up, you will also be able to get a super dope Light Guardian crystal. And actually, yeah, I was just thinking, like, Melissa, I know like last time we were just like talking about getting you another one of these. That's right. So again, if you want to be able to help support what we're doing here, the awesome value that we're creating as community through these broadcasts, sign up for the Patreon. You'll see that info on screen here for those of you on YouTube and Facebook. And when you sign up, you can get a Light Guardian crystal for a pay what you wish price. So how much do these cost? As much as you wish to pay once you sign up for the Patreon. And when you sign up at the $11 a month, then you will also be able to get a Lumerian Light Guardian crystal. And these things are like worth like $1 million. So straight up $1 million, $1 million space dollars. All right, Melissa, it's great to see you here. Again, Melissa is a super awesome soul who I happened to meet when I was in Ottawa, doing my like free hug stuff downtown one time. And yeah, just actually, Melissa, did you notice what I'm wearing? Like, I'm literally wearing the ring that I bought from your shop, eh? Like, that's pretty cool. Like, this ring has been a big part of my story, actually. So, yeah. All right, let's get right into this reading. Jeremy, thanks for tuning in. Thanks so much, everyone, for being here. All right, so Nita, thank you so much for being here. This is going to be what may be our last reading for tonight, unless we get one more Patreon sign up for tonight. So again, if you're tuning here and you're just like, dude, this is awesome, I love the value that we're creating here as a community, and maybe you haven't checked out yet, go ahead and sign up for the Patreon. Again, I'm a conscious media creator, full-time creator, facilitator for the community, and I'm also an award-winning Canadian filmmaker, and I've dedicated myself to being able to help facilitate community and create conscious media to be able to help assist and accelerate the shift in consciousness. So Nita, thank you so much for joining in, and I believe this your first time, Nita? Let us know in the chat if it is. So Nita, inviting you to be able to drop yourself into this intention of show me what I need to see. Drop yourself into that heart space of just like being in that place where you're just like gratitude. So for everybody here, just take a breath. For everybody here, again, this is a team practice. Everybody here, just take a breath here. And gentle exhale. We'll just do one more of those. Deep inhale. And gentle exhale. And for everybody here, just practice holding space. Nita, drop yourself into that intention of show me what I need to see. And when you are ready, Nita, type now into the chat. Take your time, take a couple extra breaths. And so as we pull a card for all to see, the glory and the infinity within you and me, to gather more insight on this path that we weave, to be able to see the truth within these trees, within the veins that connect the threads of our heart, within all of the stories that we share through our arts. As we continue to rise together as light guardians of this land, we continue to show others what it means to stand for truth and of love, for grace and of peace, to allow ourselves to come into the stories. Something, something, something. I couldn't think of something to rhyme there. And now, says Nita. Pew, 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 pew. Perfect. So there's the card that we pulled there from the Lightworkers deck. Again, this is like our special bonus reading. Thanks again to Skylar, our bonus supporter on Patreon tonight. Thank you so much to her for allowing this reading to come through for the community. And the okay, interesting. This is literally the card that we pulled earlier today, and I'll check with Nita, and Nita will decide whether we continue reading this card or we pull another card. But I'll just charge this card up anyways, because again, whatever card comes through is the important card for us to be able to receive in this moment. And even if we pulled it yesterday or even earlier today, it doesn't matter, because the important thing is that the messages are coming through. And so the card that we pulled through for this reading is the Dark Night of the Soul. And as I mentioned, this was literally a card that we read earlier today. And with that said, I can definitely talk on this. Absolutely. And Nita, I'll let you decide. Do you want to dive into this card? Or do you want us to pull one more card? I'll let you decide. And the only reason I'm saying this is because we literally pulled this card this morning. And there are some people here who maybe saw it, but this is probably a completely different audience. So probably like 90% of the people here, minus Scarlet, who's like actually the person we pulled this card for. And then everybody else here is probably like, oh, sweet, this is still new to me. So I'll let you decide. Nita, should we move forward with this card? Give me a yes, or be able to just say like, actually, let's choose another card. And I'll let you decide. I'm going to start opening it up here. And again, this is going to be our last reading for tonight, unless we get one more Patreon supporter. And thank you again, everyone, for being here and for rocking it. Okay, so Nita says one more, please. All right, okay, that's totally cool. All right, let's do that. I am totally cool with that. Like, I get excited about that, because that just means, unless we pull it again. That'd be funny. All right, so Nita says one more card, please. All right. Okay, Nita, you know how to do this. Let's do this one more time. And again, sometimes this happens. So like the part of the sequence was for that experience to be able to be like, actually, I choose this. And then now this card becomes like the synchronistic card. So, all right, Nita, allow yourself to drop into that heart space. Be in that place of gratitude. Allow yourself to sink into the intention of show me what I need to see. Bring yourself into that place. And when you're ready, type now into the chat. And so as we rewind the clock, we allow ourselves to reflect. As we pull one more card from this cosmic deck, for we are magicians and magi and seers and shamans, we allow ourselves to taste some of this delicious cosmic ramen as we slurp up the noodles of this ancient wisdom within our hearts. We allow ourselves to be here as we continue to take part. Now, says Nita. And we pull the card here from the deck. Did you get Cosmic Ramen? What was that about? Anyways. I'm glad you guys aren't like judging me too hard here. Alright. So, this is not the same card. Which is awesome. It's awesome either way. So, charging this card up with the Light Guardian Crystal. And the card that we have pulled here on behalf of Nita, on behalf of the team, is 36. Reassurance of the Golden Light. So allow me to be able to open up to the book here, and I'll read into this. Yeah, honestly, for anybody who's just like, hey, I wanted to see the Dark Night of the Soul card, seriously, if you want to, just go back to our reading from this morning and read into that. Because, like, seriously, like, I'm not disagreeing that it's, like, a super worthwhile card. And so if you're just like, hey, I still feel called to be able to receive that wisdom, just go back to our broadcast from this morning. You can check it out. Yeah, Scarlet, you being here somehow, like, manifested that card twice or something. So, in, like, a super bonus way. That's funny. All right, so opening up this card here, card number 36. So again, this is from our Lightworker Oracle deck that we are reading from. Give me 2 seconds here. Just gonna get a sip of water. Yeah, Allison, go check out that replay. Honestly, if you go check out the replay, the sound's not synced up. I apologize for that. But the sound is synced up on this one. So, yay. All right, so again, for everybody here, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to talk a little bit about this card. This will be our last reading for tonight, unless there's like one more person who wants to sign up for the Patreon. Again, signing up for the Patreon is a monthly micro donation, $3, $5, $11, $1,000, whatever you wish to contribute. And that helps give you additional perks within the community. It can give you the Light Guardian Crystal for a pay what you wish price, and the option to join as a leading member with the $11 a month or higher. So thank you again to all our Patreon supporters for helping make this possible, and bonus thank you to Skylar for our sign up tonight and for the bonus contribution for us to be able to do this reading for the community. So with that said, let's take a look at this card and let's talk a little bit more about it. And yeah, this will either be the last reading for tonight unless one more person signs up. So thank you again, everyone. So looking at this card, what do we got here? Visually, again, I love this deck. Beautiful, beautiful images on it. So we have this image of it's a woman. It's clearly like a woman. And she's got her hands not necessarily like in classic prayer position, but more so in like this like reflective and joyful kind of contemplative look on her face as she kind of like turns her gaze towards the heaven. And in the heavens, you can see there's like actually like this kind of like male figure, almost like a very like archetypal god like version of a being with very much like a halo, a ray of light kind of like coming from the top of its head. And yeah, and she's kind of like standing here on the earthly plane, and it's kind of got like some like almost sunset sunrise vibes to the cloud, and very, very powerful energy of this card. And she's kind of like just standing down below, and you can see like the trees and stuff in the background, and she's wearing this beautiful robe as well. So let's read here from the book. Awesome. Okay, thank you again everyone for joining in, and if you do have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Yes. All right, so again, for Nita, thank you so much for joining in, and allow yourself to just be open to being able to receive the wisdom of this card. And for everybody here, again, if you're here, this card is for you. And again, this will be our last card for tonight, but we'll keep an eye open. If somebody else signs up for the Patreon, we can do one more reading tonight. And that's my limit. Just one more reading. And then I got to go to bed. So let's read this card together. And again, just allow yourself to just kind of like open your heart. Be able to receive whatever wisdom comes through in this moment. All right. So again, for everybody here, just kind of open, listen, be present. There's something here for you. Thank you for being here. 36. Reassurance of the golden light. The golden light comes to you as a gift of grace and reassurance. It is an embrace from the universe, an expression of divine comfort and a sign of hope. When the golden light appears, it is a sign that everything in your life, even the most troubling matters, is going to work out perfectly. They are held in graceful hands of the divine, and be resolved more swiftly and beautifully than you might expect. The golden light is a very real phenomenon, although you may only perceive it when you are particularly relaxed and your clairvoyance is already developed. However, whether you see it physically or not, it is real and powerful. If you could see it clairvoyantly, it would look similar to the golden rays of a setting sun. The same warm, loving glow is cast over your heart and mind with the golden light when the golden light is shining upon you. If you are in a room when it comes upon you, you will wonder if a light has been switched on, as the glow is as noticeable as if a lamp had been placed in your room, its warmth illuminating the space. In truth, grace and divine assistance are always there for the asking, but there are times when we are in need of extra support. During such times, ironically enough, we can forget to ask for help. I'll just reread that. During such times, ironically enough, we can forget to ask for help. Perhaps you are struggling with a particularly difficult time in an initiation, or a challenging choice lies before you. Or maybe You have taken a leap and just need to know that you are doing the right thing, and somehow, even though you don't feel in control of what is happening, it is going to work out. When the golden light is given to you, it is freely done so, as a gift from the heart of the universe. It is letting you know that you are a child of the universe and that you are dearly loved. It is reminding you that on the path, the struggle to continue with trust, patience, faith, and courage can seem almost overwhelming. However, the universe is with you, supporting, loving, and believing in you every step of the way. You are not alone. You are never forgotten. You are always loved and encouraged to take your journey. You are reminded that the universe is smiling upon you. There are times you will call upon the golden light because you know that you are in need of that loving consciousness, and it is appropriate that you do this. You can use the invocation below, which we'll read later. There are times, however, when you will just feel, sense, see, or know that the golden light is being given to you as a spiritual gift from the universe. Such is the case now. As you have been drawn to this card, you are being asked to just feel peace, trust, know that everything is working out perfectly, and you don't have to worry, even though you don't know why you should possibly feel that way. The golden light is wisdom and love. It knows, and sometimes that's all you need to know in order to be at peace. Very cool. So this is a very, very beautiful card that I'm very excited just to be able to like dive into a little bit more. And again, with this card, I think one of the things that this card is really speaking for Nita and for everybody here is just reminding us that we are never alone. And again, a big part within this shift in consciousness is understanding that we are more than just our physical bodies. We are more than just these physical beings. We are multidimensional beings by nature. And what does that mean? Like, what does that really, really mean? And part of what that means is that within this divine holographic matrix, there are certain conditions. There are certain ways in which things fit together. And one of the conditions is the idea that we are intimately connected with this divine intelligence, this higher consciousness, this higher perspective, this deeper knowing at all times. And this card really hits upon the fact that within our journey of awakening, oftentimes we forget this. Sometimes we have not even been told this. Sometimes it is not even a part of our story yet. And this is a powerful card to be able to remind us that we have this guidance, this support looking over our shoulder, being able to help guide us through any of those moments of trial and of tribulation. And as much as it is always there, it is also something that we need to be able to remind it that we can ask for and invoke. Like literally one of the most important things that we can do as an individual is to be able to be okay to give ourselves permission with asking for help. And this is something that, like, yes, it's relative to our friends and our family and our social circumstances, but we forget that we actually have this ability to, like, literally ask the universe to be able to, like, bring assistance into our field, to bring assistance into our story. And this is going to be a very personal experience. It's going to be very different for different people. And sometimes, again, for some people, this would mean, like, kind of, like, literally, like, praying or like speaking to God or speaking to the Christ consciousness within themselves, or even just, again, even kind of like speaking to like a guardian angel. So there's this idea, and again, this is just an idea, think for yourself, right? There's this idea that there are literally like archetypes. There are literally archetypes that exist within this reality from a multidimensional perspective that are there to serve us. Like that is literally their role. That is literally the reason why, that's part of the reason why they exist. And yet they won't actually interfere or intervene until we invite them to be able to assist us. So we could literally say, you know, like, oh, like, you know, powers of the universe, grant me the gift of grace, grant me the gift of peace, grant me the peace, grant me the gift of like foresight, wisdom, clarity, inspiration. You can even say like, you know, like Archangel Michael or something like that, give me strength. And you invite this in. And this can also be something, this is honestly how I do it. When I kind of like invoke like the wisdom of the universe, I like to invoke it through like my connection with like my personal guides, such as like my grandparents, or even like my pet, like specifically like one of my, like my dog that passed away a few years ago, where I'll kind of like take a moment where I go and I like have a tree that I hug, and that tree is like my guardian tree. It represents like my connection with them. And in that time, I just kind of be able to like acknowledge them while also just kind of inviting them into my field to be able to help assist me. And again, so like with this card is kind of talking about the different like metaphysical experiences that we can achieve, that we can have as individual beings, that is going to be quite unique. And so some people who are in different degrees of clairvoyant abilities, some people like their third eye, they kind of see things differently. And if you don't see things quite this way, it doesn't mean there's anything wrong, but it just means that, again, we have different faculties, we have different ways of being able to perceive. But some people will literally talk about the idea of like, oh, they see energy, they see orbs, they see, like kind of like different like things happening around them. And so in this case, like there may be times where they would literally see like a flash of light in the corner. And like this in itself is like literally like a higher degree, a higher dimensional aspect of consciousness, like interacting with you. And that can be like a very visceral experience. That can be a very powerful experience. But again, it's not an experience that we would like need to happen. In order, this is a key thing, in order for us to be able to know that like the symbolic purpose of that light is with us all the time, is with us in any moment. Like in no moment are we ever separate from our guides. Are we ever separate from God? And again, I use the term God in a very open-ended sense, whatever God means to you. And Allison, just seeing your comment, can my pet be my guardian? Absolutely. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I definitely invite other people to be able to like see that. The idea that like the pet can be the guardian, because I definitely feel that with mine, like I invite them to be able to do that. So again, the reassurance of the golden light, this is kind of, again, a very powerful card to be able to reflect on being able to like be gentle with ourselves when we go through those periods where we forget our own divinity, where we kind of like get caught up in the material like everyday life, or we get caught up even in a crisis. And we need to be able to give ourselves permission, kind of going back to what the other cards were talking about, of being able to slow down, being able to center, being able to bring ourselves back to our heart, and being able to just kind of remind ourselves and be like, okay, this is still the perfect reality. This is still the universe like giving me something very valuable in this moment, and inviting me to be able to like deepen my devotion, deepen my trust, deepen my faith, to allow ourselves to even that sometimes kind of like move into a place of doubt, to be able to have our faith tested. And again, I use the term faith in a very kind of like open way, but that's kind of the thing. It's like if like everything was like obviously like apparent all the time in terms of like the universe like always being there for us, then it would kind of like remove the reason for faith. Faith is something that we need to be able to cultivate in the face of uncertainty. And it is in that place of uncertainty that we really allow ourselves to deepen our connection with that faith. So again, for me, faith, my faith, in a very like not religious sense, it's kind of like beyond religion, is a faith in knowing that the universe is here to serve us in evolving our consciousness, and that whatever comes to us is actually there for our highest growth. But it's up to us to be able to choose like how we show up to it, the attitude that we bring into it. So again, I think this is a very, very powerful card. And Nita, let me know how this resonates with you. Because again, I think this card for you, Nita, is again just a very powerful card for you to be able to invite yourself to acknowledge and remember the fact that that golden light, that divine intelligence, that connection with God, whatever you want to call it, is always with us. And maybe it's something that you've just like kind of let go. Maybe it's something that you kind of like haven't really paid attention to. And that's the thing. It's like the universe will like always be like loving us as it's like children, and we can ignore it. We can forget about it. We can get so caught up in the Maya, in the story of our life, and then the universe won't take it personally, but it will always be there. It will always be there to support us. And this is like a deep, deep, deep higher wisdom understanding of knowing that even things are unfolding in a very non-linear way, and that this is still something that's here to serve us. It is still something to say that the universe is with you, supporting, loving, and believing in you every step of the way. So this is kind of like a card that invites us to be able to connect with like the cheerleaders of the universe that are always there for us, our guides, God, consciousness, Christ consciousness, whatever you want to think of it as. and to feel that, to not just know it, but to feel that. And what can it feel like? What does it feel like for you to be able to like feel in that moment, that like psychedelic reverence of being able to know that you are like literally not more than one step away from God, whatever you want to think of it as, knowing that it's literally right here in our heart. Again, kind of going back to the earlier card that we had earlier in the night, the Queen of Spheres, which is all about being able to feel like the motherly wisdom in our heart. This card is very much like that same thing, that same connection. That motherly wisdom in our heart is also, again, that awareness of like the all that is in connection to this hyperdelic matrix of light. And so we literally are that. It's not like the light is just something shining separately. It's literally something that is like illuminating from within as well. It's not something like coming from the other side of the room. That light is literally something that is like bringing ourselves into the awareness of it within. And another thing that I would say within this card is let this be also an invitation for us to be able to practice cleaning the dirt that is covering the lens of our heart so that more of our light can shine, so that we can experience this, and also to be able to continue to basically be able to like practice being a ray of light for other people as well. That is a very, very important thing to practice, knowing that as we continue to become aware of like this ray of light presence within our lives, we allow ourselves to be a reflection of it, to be a ray of light for other people, so that we can become conduits of this consciousness. So we can become conduits for this awareness, so that other people can be able to be reminded of this themselves. So Nita, I really encourage you to be able to see this as like something that you can do of service, where you can practice cultivating this awareness within your own being, and then being able to bring this awareness into a story that you can share with other people as well, to be able to help them see the golden light within themselves. So again, there are times when you will call upon the golden light because you know that you're in need of that loving consciousness, and it is appropriate that you do this. You can use the invocation below, which we'll read in a second. There are times, however, when you will feel, just sense, see, or know that the golden light is being given to you as a spiritual gift from the universe. So again, that golden light can kind of be like that aha remembrance, like, oh my God, I was so deep in the midst of like, perhaps like even kind of related to like the dark night of the soul that I forgot. But now like that gift of remembrance is given, and you're just like, oh, opens up relief, deep trust, deep revelation. So yeah, it literally says here, you are being asked to just feel peace, trust, know that everything is working out perfectly and you don't have to worry, even though you don't know why you should possibly feel that way. The golden light is wisdom and love. It knows, and sometimes that's all you need to know in order to be at peace. So again, I really think like that is a very powerful idea, to even just be able to like, again, I've adopted this kind of mindset too. Like, can you feel this? Can you literally feel this? Can you really understand this on a deep, deep level, that this is the perfect reality? And again, I understand that's a challenging thing to think of, and try to just keep it situated perhaps just within your immediate experience. But to even allow yourself to be able to reflect on that concept when things are probably not going exactly how you would want them to, but they're still going towards like a way that consciousness needs them to go in order for it to be able to grow, in order for it to be able to learn, in order for it to be able to have these like deep, meaningful experiences to serve as catalysts as well. And so again, that idea of like, say something, so say for example, right, like this is a common example where it's just like, just be like, oh, you know, like maybe like your partner like breaks up with you, kind of an extreme example and everything like that. And you can kind of like be in this place where you're just like, yeah, like this hurts, this sucks, and you still want to feel it. You don't want to ignore it. Like none of this card is about ignoring the feelings, but also for you to be able to bring in that idea of being able to reflect on basically like how that in itself is actually the universe doing what it can to be able to like still serve you, to be able to like still allow you to show up in more of your purpose, for you to still be able to see that from that idea that it is still the universe unfolding itself perfectly. And that in itself is the reassurance of understanding what that golden light is. And that golden light is very much just like a metaphor for being able to understand at all times our deep connection to source. So awesome. So again, there's a little invocation here, and Anita, Nita, let me know how this resonates with you. She says, totally resonates. Thank you. It was meant for me to find you here. Awesome. Thank you so much, Nita. Thank you so much for being here, and I'm glad that that resonated with you. And I'm going to read this invocation, and I encourage everybody here. We're going to read this invocation together, and you are going to be able to like to repeat back what we are saying here. And for anybody else looking for a reading, I'll go over that in the next second. But just everybody here, just go ahead and repeat this back as I say it to you. Invocation. And allow yourself to feel at peace. So put your hands on your chest. Just feel this. Take a deep breath here. Can you feel it? Can you feel that golden light right here, right now? And it is never not there. So if you can get good at feeling it, that's a very powerful skill. That's a very powerful, deep way of being able to serve yourself. That's a very powerful ability. And not even just something for yourself, to share with others. Invocation. So repeat after me as I say this. I call upon the reassurance of the golden light. I call upon the reassurance of the golden light. The comfort of the divine spirit and the loving grace of the universe. The comfort of the divine spirit and the loving grace of the universe. Thank you for being with me now. Thank you for being with me now. For bringing me peace and reassurance even in my darkest moments. For bringing me peace and reassurance even in my darkest moments. Thank you for sharing a special truth with me. Thank you for sharing a special truth with me. That you love and hold and cherish and assist me always. That you love and hold and cherish and assist me always. I love you. I love you. Thank you for loving me too. Thank you for loving me too. May the golden light heal all beings of fear and doubt. May the golden light heal all beings of fear and doubt. Gently bestowing mercy, compassion, and loving reassurance. Gently bestowing mercy, compassion, and loving reassurance of divine presence into the hearts of all. Of divine presence into the hearts of all. Through divine grace and my own free will, so be it. Through divine grace and my own free will, so be it. Awesome. Very cool. So there we go. So thank you again, everyone, for being here and for holding space with this. And again, let this card just be a reminder of that idea that like that golden light, that golden thread, that reminder that like we are divinity incarnated here in this human form, playing this game of what it means to forget and to remember, and that we are here to be able to help assist others on that journey as well. This is a very, very powerful card. So again, Nita, I see this as being a very powerful card for everybody here to remind you of the wisdom that you already have and to see it as a gift that you can share. Help others see and help be a voice for the golden light to be able to reassure them of that golden light within themselves. So I think that's a very, 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 very beautiful card. So thank you, Nita, for allowing us to be able to pull that card on your behalf for the team. So again, for everybody here, if you're listening to that, that card was for you. So thank you for receiving it, and thank you again, Skylar, for your additional contribution to the Patreon, and absolutely, thank you so much for being here tonight, everyone. So with that said, that is going to be our last reading for tonight, but we'll just hang out here for a couple more minutes. If we do get one more Patreon supporter signed up, I can do that. I'm okay with doing one more sign up, but otherwise in the next 10 minutes, less than that, we will wrap up the broadcast, and the next person who signs up, they can choose if they want a reading from the Ananda deck or a reading from the Oracle deck, from the Lightworker Oracle deck. But again, for anybody who's interested, you can also sign up for a private reading. And again, you can sign up for a reading by supporting on Patreon with a monthly micro donation. Again, Patreon is a website for people to be able to help support artists. And I myself am a conscious media creator. And you can check out a lot of the content that I do online through my Patreon. It's all linked in there as well. And yeah, If you have any questions, let me know. And when you sign up, you can also get a beautiful light guardian crystal. So if Nita, if it's your first time here, please go ahead and check out the Patreon just so you can see more of the work that I do and subscribe to my other channels and enjoy the content that we have online. And if you want to even contribute in the future, Nita, absolutely, you're more than welcome. And again, you can also be sure to check out more at paradigmshiftcentral.com, and you can connect with our global community. You can subscribe for our newsletter. You can join our team chats and all sorts of awesome service and value that we provide for the community. So thank you again, everyone, for joining here tonight. Again, we're just going to kick it just for another couple extra minutes to make sure that nobody else is interested in signing up for the Patreon before we close off this broadcast. And yeah, we did get 2 new Patreon signups tonight with the additional add-on from Skylar. So thank you again, Benjamin. Thank you so much for joining in. And for anybody else, sorry, I forgot to say, for anybody else, if that last reading resonated with you, please feel free to drop some 1111s in the chat and let me know how it resonated with you, and I'll read your comments on air as well. PJ, thank you so much for joining in as well. So we're just kind of check here. How many people do we got? We got 5 people on YouTube. We've got how many people on, sorry, we got 5 people on Facebook. We've got 2 people on YouTube. So I think, yeah, so I think, again, I'm expecting that this will be the end of the broadcast, unless there's anybody who immediately wants to be able to sign up for the Patreon. But I'm expecting that we will be doing the end of the broadcast in the next little moment. Sheila, thank you so much for joining in, Sheila. Great to see you here again. So yeah, so I'm ready to wrap up this broadcast. But again, if anybody is looking to be able to sign up for the Patreon, know that you can also sign up to be able to get a private reading as well, which allows us to go a little bit deeper. That's like a little bit of like a, you know, that would be like a one-on-one video chat conversation. And we would schedule that at an according time. And again, when you sign up on the Patreon, you can also get super awesome things such as the light guardian crystals, the shift buttons, all sorts of cool stuff. And if you sign up at the $11 level, then you can get the Lumerian light guardian crystal. And yeah, I've got lots of different versions of those. Here's a super dope, awesome red one. Super dope. And again, tune in because we will be back here again at 10 a.m. tomorrow. So that means I have to go to sleep now. And but we'll be back very soon. So make sure that you're subscribed. If you're watching this on Facebook, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll post that in the link down below. And you can also follow me on Instagram as well, because I post regular content there that you don't see elsewhere. And please feel free to send me a direct message if you would like me to send a screenshot for any of the cards that we did during the night's reading. So again, even for Nita, if you follow me on Instagram or anywhere, let me know and send me a message, and I can send you a link for the reading that we did. And even if you are on Facebook, you can send me a message there as well. So with that said, I just invite everybody here to be able to express some gratitude as we wrap up this broadcast. The lightsabers, yes. Sheila is like, yes, the lightsabers. So again, for everybody here, just go ahead, express some gratitude in the chat for the space that we're holding, absolutely, towards myself, for the community, for the team, for the wisdom of the universe, for the reassurance of the golden light, and for the inspiration that we have cultivated here. And let us continue to carry this inspiration with us further into the everyday things that we do to help accelerate the shift in consciousness. So thank you. Cheers to keeping it shifty. Awesome. All right. So again, just waiting one more second as any comments for gratitude come in. And again, super deep thank you to everyone involved. Be sure to check out more at paradigmshiftcentral.com, or you can go right to my Patreon and check out the stuff there, because that links into everything else. So congrats, team. Deep gratitude on another successful broadcast. Lots of magic cultivated here tonight. And again, please follow my profile. If you're watching this on Facebook and you want to send me a friend request, make sure to send me a direct message as well. That way, so I can know who you are and I can accept your friend requests. Otherwise, I don't accept friend requests unless they've sent me a direct message. And yeah, and just good job, everyone. This has been an awesome broadcast tonight, and we'll do another one tomorrow morning, and we'll set the intention of being able to earn some additional Patreon support. And yeah, we'll continue to provide awesome value for the community. So Thank you, everyone. Again, my name is Brendan, aka Mystic Spider-Man, Skull Babylon, Skull the Wolf, Brendan Colton. Yeah, it's been an awesome broadcast. Thanks for staying up. Thanks for hanging out with us, and thank you for continuing to be the shift that you wish to see in the world. So until next time, be sure to check out more at ParadigmCentral.com. Be sure to explore the Patreon when you can. Send me a direct message if you watch this broadcast, just to be able to express some gratitude, and tune in for future broadcasts Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, at least for the time being. And yeah, wishing you an amazing day wherever you are, whenever you are. Thanks so much for tuning in. Keep it shifty, and I will see you in the future. Much love, peace, and wholeness. Go out there and kick some butt. Keep it shifty. All right. See you soon. Much love.